What's going on, everyone?
Welcome
Coco
back.
Podcast. We got another podcast. Raj, welcome,
Raj
man.
is here. We got a guest, Grant Siegel, in the building.
Yes, sir. What's going on?
How you doing, man? Thank you
Good.
for coming on, dude. It's awesome, man.
Thanks for having me.
Second guest all time. So
Let's go.
That's huge.
We're at the start.
And I know we've talked about this for a long time, so we're finally here.
For
We
sure.
made it. And just tell us a little bit about you, bro. People that don't know who you are, people that come from maybe my audience or his audience, and they come and they see, like, who are you?
Yeah, so I'm Grant Siegel. I'm a baseball player born and raised in Florida. I went to high school at University School.
Yep.
You also went.
Yep.
My freshman year of college, I went to Tulane, and then I transferred to West Virginia last year, played last year there, and then now I'm going into my junior year there now. And I play baseball there. I'm a pitcher.
100%. It's our first athlete on the podcast. Somebody, aside from, I guess, me and you're also athletic as well, Justin.
Right.
And but you give us, the audience, a perspective of basically an athlete's life or your approach towards being an athlete. And I
For
feel
sure.
like many people in all walks of life can take that approach that you put towards baseball into their individual lives. So, that's a little bit what we want to talk about. Anything you want to share in regards to what you've learned along this process of just being a baseball player, like
Right.
approaching it day by day,
I mean, you said it. It's day by day.
Yeah.
Like, that's really what it is. It's like, that's life. I feel like a lot of people say baseball is one of the best games as a reflection of life because it's one of those games where you fail a lot more than you succeed, and you're considered a success
Yeah.
because you fail less than other people,
Yeah.
which is rare. Most of the time, it's like success, and like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think that's a really good reflection of life. Like, we fail a lot more than we succeed, and it's almost finding peace and enjoyment in doing that, and then
100%.
fighting through it to get back to success, enjoying that success so much that when you fail, the success is more valuable to you than letting the failure kick you down and keep you down.
Yeah. I feel like that's a great metaphor.
How long you've been playing baseball
My
all your
whole
life?
life.
You,
Yeah,
literally
my
your whole life?
Yeah. I started playing T-ball when I was like 2.5, 3,
Oh, yeah.
and I've been playing
Okay.
ever since. But I played all the sports growing up till I was probably like 8th or 9th grade, and then I was like, all right, I really want to play baseball. I love playing baseball. That's what I want to do.
Right.
Do you feel like sticking to sports like that at a young age? I feel like that discipline-wise, what you carry, like learning from the sport. I know a lot of people that played like baseball their lives, specifically baseball, that discipline, you learn like such a discipline and routine early on that people, I feel like, that don't play sports at a young age takes them a little longer to, I guess, develop. I played sports a little bit when I was young, but I didn't stick to it through middle school or anything like that. And it did take me a little bit longer to learn like a discipline and routine, just like
100%.
with everything, whether it's school or like your day, like working out. I got into working out way later, maybe like
Right.
post high school. So like, I feel like, I don't know if you kind of relate to that, where you think like sticking to a sport for so long, it just develops such a calluses and like mindset, maybe like without you even realizing, maybe. I don't know if that's something you noticed growing up.
I see that for sure, but I think the biggest thing is like it throws you in a fire of you have to deal with other individuals for a common goal at a young age, and that I think is what's rare for most people. A lot of people that aren't in sports walk through life not alone, but they're on their own mission. Like if you start a business, yeah, you need other people, but
Yeah.
it's more of like you can more
No,
relate to that where it's
100%.
like you want that move, you need to make that move.
Yeah.
In baseball, it's the same thing. You're putting in work, but I throw a pitch to a catcher who's catching my ball. Then when that batter hits it, the shortstop's making a throw to the first baseman, and they're all putting work in to help us all get better.
100%.
And you have to deal with different personalities from different backgrounds with different attitudes. And like the biggest thing I struggled with in high school was the different level of commitment. And that's like something I've had to learn and evolve and grow with. Of like I was very judgmental when I was younger of like, you don't want it as bad as me.
Yeah.
Why don't they want it like me? Like I would ask my coach all the time, I'd be like, coach, like they don't care about winning. And he'd be like, yeah, some of them don't. And it was like,
It's just matter of fact. Yeah.
right, it was matter of fact where you're like, how do you not see it how I see it? Like you don't love it like I love it. You don't want to win like I want to win. Like I would go home, go hit extra 200 baseballs, 300 baseballs if I went over 3 or whatever in high school. These kids are like, I don't care. That's something you have to learn of like on a deeper level in life of like dealing with other people. Some people don't really care. Like some people are around to just get by. Other people are around to their goals to be the best ever. Like everyone has a different thing, and I had to learn how to like something that I've been learning better as I'm getting older is like people don't want to necessarily be critiqued as much as they just want to be loved on. Where it's like if you don't want to be great, that's fine. I like you as the person you are. That's fine. But if you ask to be like, if you're constantly like, you need to get on my level and pushing people like that, if they don't want to be pushed, you're just going to create a lot of animosity towards people, and like relationships are very important, and like you just don't want to. That's something like a lesson I've learned. I'm saying for myself, where like, I had to learn that young, where I'm pushing 16, 17, 18-year-olds that they don't care about baseball. They don't want to go at the next level.
Thing,
And me, it's my life. Like I'm going to the cafeteria every day looking at, do I want the salad or the fried chicken, where it's not even a thought to them. But there's nothing wrong with that. Like that was just the way I was thinking, and they're thinking of parties and this and that. And again, nothing wrong with that. It's just completely different approaches. Right. And I learned to accept that.
At what point do you feel like it went from you just playing a game to you being like, I want to make this my life, or like I want to actually dominate every single aspect of the sport?
Right. I would say honestly, right when I turned like 13, it was like a flip switch for me, because I used to live in Fort Lauderdale, then we moved to Plantation, and out here, in my opinion, sports are taken much more serious. Like I'd never seen anything like private training. I didn't know what any of that was.
Right.
And I always loved baseball. I want to get drafted. Obviously, at that age, you don't know how that works. You think you just wake up and you're gonna be wearing a Yankees jersey, and it's like, oh, this is awesome. But I moved out here and I saw kids 8th grade, 9th grade committing to Vanderbilt, Miami, and I was like, oh wow, I'm behind. And that was like a big moment for me, where I was like, oh my God, like if I really want this, I have I got to catch up. I have to play catch up. These kids have been playing competitive, very competitive travel ball at 7, 8, 9 years old, while I was surfing in Fort Lauderdale, then going to baseball practice during baseball season, soccer, football. Like I was in seasons. These kids have been
just being a kid.
Yeah, they were private training for 7, 8 years now. But when I was 13, I was like, all right, this is what I want. This is what I'm gonna do. And I feel like it's one of those things where you put that into the universe. Like it's very spiritual, obviously. I believe in that. Like when you put that out in the universe, like the world becomes, it like almost tailors to your objective.
100%.
And what I mean by that is like, for me, whenever I started that intention of like, okay, now I want to be the best I can be. Like I want this. I want to go to school for it. I want to be a professional. I always want to be a professional. But when it got real for me, it was like, I was watching Inky Johnson, Eric Thomas, Les Brown, like these dudes at 13. And that was another one of those things where it's like, it's not very normal when you're walking around talking about like spirituality and life and like posting quotes at 14 years old. But it's like, that's what I wanted. And I loved it. Like I said, like 13, that's when I was like a little chubby kid too. So I was like, I feel like a lot of kids go through that, where you're like, where that's the first time like eating healthy becomes like a thought in your mind. And then it's like to me, it's just, I gave it my all, like to your point, like when it was like, this is going to be my life. And I love every aspect of it. At 13, like that's when I stopped like the cake, ice cream, cookies, candy, soda, all that. It was like, if it's not making me better, why would I do that? And it was like that cut and dry. It's like, I didn't even want it anymore, because I wanted to be great so bad that I didn't even think about like,
it was just
a cookie or a grilled chicken. Yeah, it's not worth it. Like, and that goes to like a whole another point of like, what do you want out of your career when it's done? And for me, it's just to have peace. Like, I never want to look back and be like, my career came down to just eating healthier. If I ate a little healthier, I could have been a little better, and I might have played an extra 3 years. It's like, to me, that's regret, and that's scary. I'm not scared to fail. Failure doesn't scare me at all. People ask me all the time, what are you going to do if you don't do this? What are you going to do if you don't make it? Da-da-da-da. What will I do if I don't give it my all? That scares me way more than not making it's an outcome. That's that's something else. That to me is like, that's written in the stars, and I give it my all every day. And that's like, that's different. But if I don't get drafted or whatever it is, like when people say their definition of failure, success, and all that, mine would be when I go out, whenever that happens, that's on God's time and all that, is like, did you give it everything you have? And if you did, that should be your peace. Like a happy man is a content man. When you're like, hey bro, I did everything I could. Literally every aspect, every single, I went to bed early. I did this. I studied. I read. I podcast. I like watched podcasts. I took notes. I did everything I could. I'm cool. Because I feel like everyone judges off of results. Did he make it? Was it successful? It's like, what if I was a public success and a private failure? Then what?
A lot of people like that.
A lot of people like that, where it's like, public, it's like, oh wow, that dude's winning.
Incredible.
You don't know. You don't know anything. Versus another person where it's like, you talked about this, like the guy on the fishing boat,
Yeah.
where it's like, I'm going to come back to doing the exact same thing I love. You know what I mean? Like
that prophecy is like the guy's like in the middle, like a guy goes on vacation, he sees this guy who's on the boat and he's fishing.
Yeah.
And he goes up to him, he's like, hey, if you do this twice a day, or you do it for a little bit longer, you have twice as many fish, then you can sell it to them, then you'll have 2 boats, you buy another boat, you have 2 boats, all of a sudden you have more fish, you can sell it, and then he's like, okay, then what happens? Then you're gonna get factory, and then you import, you export, and you make all this money, and then he's like, then what am I gonna do? And then he's like, then you'll have all this money, you can do whatever you want. He said, I'm doing whatever I want to do anyway right now.
Yeah,
You know what I
he's
mean?
like,
So why
just
would
want my
I-
boat and I want to fish and
It's
like,
like you said, it's a happy
100%.
man is a content man, and I think that stems from you giving it your all. Obviously, outcomes we can't control, and we talk about this a lot. Is like focusing on what you can control,
Right.
and then as long as you do that, whatever the outcome happens, you got to live with the results because you know you did everything that was in your power to achieve.
100%. I think that's a part of evolving too. Like when you're young, at least for me when I was younger, high school, results, that's it.
Yeah,
I didn't care. It was like this, I need this, I need this.
Yeah.
And then when you get older, I feel like, and you fall in love with like, I feel like when you really start maturing, you don't even think about results.
not true.
Like when you wake up, you're just like such in a routine of like, okay, I wake up, what can I do today to get as much better as I possibly can today? And then if I wake up tomorrow, I'm going to do the exact same thing. And so someone tells me one day, you're not good enough to play here.
Yeah,
And then even that day, I might be like, all right, I'm going to try and find somewhere else to play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's just a day to day. Like, I feel like people get so caught up in the staircase or the mountain where it's like, if you could take it step by step and look at it as, can you put one foot in front of the other? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, do that a bunch of times.
Yep.
Once you put one foot, then you put the other one. And then you don't even look up. And the next thing you know, 20 years, you're like, wow, I built something incredible. Or, wow, I finally got to the top of the mountain.
Yeah,
what is it that you feel like? Because that's something I really struggle with. Like that really resonates with me what you're saying. Because like me in the creative space, you know, I'm a filmmaker. I love filming and stuff like that. But there's something I've been going through this hump. I don't know if I've told you about this, but especially like with the YouTube channel and stuff, like I want to film more, like short films. I have ideas. That's like I have scripts that I write or whatever. But there's just something holding me back, and I think it's like it must be like the fear of failure, or the fear of the result, instead of just doing my part every day. Because like I tell myself, if I just do my part every day, the rest is like out of my control. And that's exactly like you have that
100%.
soul dialed in, and that really resonates with me. Because with me, that's something I'm trying to crack. I'm trying to like just not care about the result so much, and just do it, and like
Right.
just do it every day.
Yeah, so
You know,
I would say to that is like a lot of, I think becoming great too is also like letting go and holding on to things. It's a
Yeah.
very fine balance.
Yeah.
It's like letting go of old beliefs of like, I have to look like this and be like this to
Yeah.
be like that. And it's like, no, you don't.
No.
That's a dream that's sold. Like some dudes I know, like, and I'm going to get to your point with this of like, some dudes feel like one of my coaches, Paul Herf, shout out to him, GOAT. But he always used to tell me, he was like, Grant, you have to understand, like, some people don't work as hard or as close to as hard as you do or whatever. Like, one, you can't put that on other people. And two, a lot of people think, what will I think of myself if I give my all and still fail?
Yeah.
But we always used to say, back to like what we were talking about a little bit earlier, to me, I never looked at it that way. I looked at it as, if you don't give it your all, you're almost definitely not going to succeed. So you're already selling yourself short
Sure.
if you're already doing that. And then number two is, what will you think of yourself if you didn't give it your all and you didn't succeed? Because if you're already planning to fail, you might as well go out with a bang.
Yeah.
yeah.
You might as well give it everything you have. And then if I failed, well, I thought I was going to fail anyway. So, you know what I
Here we
mean?
are.
And not only that, but like the more you give your all, the less that, in my opinion, you'll start to actually believe you're going to succeed, because you're like, look at all this work I'm work
Yeah.
gives you the evidence.
Mm.
And when people say like believe in yourself, and people are like, well, I struggle believing in myself. Well, I'm like, how much work are you putting in to believe in yourself? How much evidence are you giving yourself every day? Like for me, like I give myself evidence. It's like, I read today. I did this today. I went to the gym. I got better today. You know what I mean? And some days it feels like you got worse, but you didn't.
Yeah.
I promise you did it. And
Yeah.
that's another thing, like where we're talking about with like
Stacking days.
stacking days. Not only that, but like the perception of every day has to feel like a ginormous,
100%.
successful,
Yeah.
uber, like, wow, I made a 20-pound jump. Bro, some people don't make a 20-pound jump in 3 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like, but can you keep digging? Can you still have that blind faith of like, I know I'm on the right path. It just might be taking me longer. Like,
Yeah.
that's how it is. But to your
Staying
point of
committed
that,
to the result, and I think flexible in the approach.
100%.
It's like when things don't go your way, you got to constantly find, like, if that really is the end goal, be all for you, is like, this didn't work out. Okay, we're going to try something else. And it's, to your point, like in baseball, you fail a lot more than you succeed. But I feel like even in life, like even the most successful people, they've had more failures than they've had successes.
100%.
It's because they go through life failing, and then they fail a little bit better. They fail a little bit better. They fail a little bit better. And before you know it, you get to your result that you're looking for. And
100%.
I think that's very true to what you're saying about letting go and holding on too. You want to let go of like whatever happens and not taking things to heart, and then still hold on to, this is what I want the outcome to be.
100%. And I think it's also like,
sense.
in terms of letting go too, is like, I love the flexibility and routine, because that's very true. Like I heard a quote that I love where it's attached to nothing, open to everything. So it's like, if you're so stuck in it needs to be this way, I need to feel this way, but you keep not getting the result, it's a definition of insanity. You have to change something if you're not getting the result you want.
Yep.
But back to what you were saying about like feeling like, instead of just diving in or kind of like teeter-tottering with it, like sometimes I want to do it, sometimes I don't. For me, I think for how short life is and everything, and it's only your life, if you love doing it and you know you love doing it, I feel like it's easy to dive in, because the only thing that might be holding you back is like judgment from others, and that you're always going to have regardless.
Yep.
Because if you're not making videos, they're like, look at this guy, he's not even making videos. Then when you start making videos, these videos aren't that good.
Yep.
Then when you're making phenomenal ones, they're like, it's really not that good. There's always a level of judgment. No one's ever going to be like
somebody that'll be there that doesn't agree with what you have to say. And I think that's the
always
art of like you accepting a different level. Like as you grow in life and as you create new opportunities for yourself, you reach new heights, there's gonna be more people that are gonna be there that are gonna be like, hey, we don't like this, or this doesn't work for us, or, you know, there are going to be a lot of naysayers that are going to not believe in you or your journey or whatever you're putting out. Like Drake to this day, like he'll drop an album and within 15 minutes, you'll see on Twitter, there'll be 30 people like, this album's trash. But the album itself is like an hour and 15 minutes long. If you listen to the whole thing. How have you gotten a judgment within 15 minutes? And that's Drake, who's been on top of the game for a decade, you know? And so I think you just have to, like, I feel like a life where you're not doing what you want to do is an unfulfilled life, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
100%.
A lot of people get to 25. They may live to 75, but they end up dying at 25. And then they live 50 stagnant years because they keep living in this, I guess, hoping that something happens that drastically changes their life, but they're not willing to take responsibility of their own life. So wouldn't you rather be in a position where maybe you're not achieving the results, but like at least you're in pursuit of achieving that result? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So many people.
It's really interesting how like powerful the mind is, you know, like a lot of people that I speak to, and I think I've told you this before, where they're just like, I want to start this, I want to start that. But like your brain will literally convince you of yourself, even just without the external forces, that either you can't start it because of this, that, or that, or you're not good enough for this, that, or that. And that happens to me a lot too, in the creative space, just filmmaking, right? Because there's so many short films out there and stuff. And my first thought is like, oh, like, damn, that's really good. I don't know if I can do that or something, you know? Until I actually put myself in a position where I'm in it, like I have to force myself in that position, just breaking that comfort zone, I guess.
Right.
But when I'm actively doing it, like what we're doing right now, you know, then it's like, oh shit, like this is fucking awesome. You feel that spark,
euphoric,
and it's like I have to remember that to keep going. You know,
it's so funny because our mind is like our mind's been one of the only things that hasn't really evolved much over the course of time. It's still in fight or flight.
Yeah.
So it'll always try to protect you from situations that it feels like is going to cause you pain.
Yeah.
And that could be like fear of failure. That could be fear of like embarrassment in front of people,
discomfort,
or judgment, or anything, and it wants to protect you from that. So it'll constantly tell you, "Hey, you're not good enough," in order to in hopes of you like not even making the attempt.
Yeah.
When in reality, it's like something we have to actively train our brain to kind of find the good in everything. And to your point, like there's a million reasons for you to not do something. There's a million reasons for you to not play baseball.
Right.
A million.
Right.
But you have that one reason that is so much more powerful than those a million reasons that tells you, hey, I'm going to play baseball and this is what I want to do.
Right.
And I feel like that mindset of, and that's why I asked you in the beginning about starting sports at such a young age, because I feel like I could be wrong, but from what I see just from different people I've talked to have done sports really early on, it helps you carry like this discipline and like that mindset that you have of just like, I mean, you're going to fail. You just got to do it. You got to keep going one day at a time, but it just applies to everything else. You know,
100%.
It's really interesting because I'm hearing you speak and it's like, it's really inspiring, but also it's like a pattern. You know how like success leaves clues, you know?
Yeah.
And I there's someone else that I know that creative space as well. I think, was it baseball? He did a sport super young, but it's a certain discipline and mindset that you grow up with. I just find that really interesting because I'm hearing you speak. I'm like, wow, man, like, things that I'm struggling with, I'm already like learning from what you're saying. I don't know. It's just really interesting.
I think a big reason why me and Grant got along so well, even though you're I think you're 4 or 5 years younger than I am.
Yeah, I'm 20.
20, so 7 years younger than I am.
Yeah.
Like crazy. Like the reason we got along so well is because I saw parts of myself of when he was talking about, like he's talking 14, 15, you're posting quotes. Yeah. I used to have seniors in high school when I was a freshman being like, yo, like joking underneath my posts on Facebook, making fun of
100%. Let's go into that.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, because I was the same way. I was at 13. Like, I remember my dad, 9th grade year, he would drop me off to Pinecrest, which is where I went to high school before I went to youth school.
Gotcha.
For 2 years. He would drive me there and then drive me back. On the way there, he would just put in audio tape. So he'd have Tony Robbins, Jack Canfield, like Secret, all of these different books. And in the beginning, I used to hate it. I used to pretend like I was falling asleep. He'd be like, wake up, you're listening. He's like, I don't want to listen. I want to listen to music. He's like, nah, it's my car. You're listening to what I'm putting on.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, cool. And after a while, you start seeing the change in approach because you get so used to what all of the other kids are saying. And then this thought process that's coming from these thought leaders and these people that constantly push self-improvement and self-development, you're hearing things that people discover way later on in life. Like Jack Canfield, he talks about how he understood like most of the things from The Secret, which is the law of attraction and the ability to manifest things and the spirituality aspect of it when he was like 40, 50 years old. And you're getting that at like 13, 14, 15.
100%.
And you're not on the same frequency as like your peers. It just happens.
Right.
You're thinking a little differently. Your aspirations are a little different. And then you start being a little vocal about it and people don't like change, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
I think it's not even that they don't like change, which is true. People definitely don't like change. But I think it's like, and that's why I said, let's talk about this, because in high school, I feel like that's such a formative years.
Yeah.
And I really truly believe like it makes or breaks a lot of people.
100%.
Like I really, because I saw it like firsthand. Like when I was in high school, back to your point, you were the same way, like with the quotes and all that. And people are like, what is this? Like, why? Or very judgmental, like, yo, like whatever.
Yeah.
If you want to be really good, that stuff does not matter. Number one, be you full-heartedly. Like you're going to make mistakes for sure. Like I'm sure you've posted things at that age that you would never post now.
Yeah.
I'll speak from, I definitely.
No, 100%.
I definitely have.
You look back on some of the things, like it'll be Facebook memory and it'll pop back up and I'm like, I can't believe I posted that.
Right. Like it's my, it's my own
believe I
quote.
said that.
Like I'm like, don't share your feelings on social media. Just do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you feel like you're being judged and all that, internalize it, not in a negative way. Turn it into fuel.
Yeah.
Don't let it bring you down, but let it fuel you. There's a big difference, huge difference actually, because it's just, do you. You know if you're doing right in the world. If you're not hurting anybody and you feel good about what you're doing, then you're probably doing right.
I think even for myself, like I know we talking about it from the formative years of high school. I just remember when in high school, I was like, when I was in high school, and I'm not there yet right now, but I was like, when I'm famous and people come back and they see this, like, are they going to be inspired or they're going to feel a certain type of way of what I'm saying? So like I had that kind of mindset from the beginning where I was like, people are watching me.
100%.
You know what I mean? And that held me back from saying a lot of stuff that maybe, some kids, they didn't approach it that way. They're like, I'm in high school. I'm just going to type exactly how I'm feeling right now.
Yeah.
And then they spit out their feelings on social media. And then, like years later, maybe people might see it. They might not be proud of it, whatever. Like,
right.
It's just, I knew like at that point, I was like, I'm preparing for when that outcome happens. And whenever that happens, I don't want anyone to see like, oh, he was very vulnerable here. Or he said something he probably shouldn't have said. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Like in high school for me, I was very, I still am, but very like to myself,
same.
Because I felt like almost when you have that drive, when you have, like, I think people, when you know you're different than most other people, you're like, you can't really connect with the same conversations, or maybe not a connection, but they're talking about this and you're talking about this and you're kind of like, you know what I mean? There's there's a loss of You know what I mean? Like, we're sitting here, like, we're talking
nothing
about
you can connect on.
when we're 14, 15, you weren't, but I'm saying, like, when we first met, we're talking about life, and I'm asking you, like, you build business. Like, it was the coolest thing to me where I was like, you're telling me all this, putting me on game. I'm like, this is what I want to talk to. Like, I'm going back to high school, and it's like, man, why you work so hard, bro? Why you got to do all that?
Conversations were way different.
Way different. But that's why I think, like, you have to protect that. You have to protect your dream, your aspirations, and all that, because everyone, not everyone, that's a big claim, but a lot of people in that space in high school, teachers included, and it's just prevalent in life always, will try and project how they feel subconsciously or consciously on
100%.
you. When it's, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a professional athlete. Everyone's heard this. It's not a unique story. They say, oh no, you can't, And that's the thing, like something I used to do when I went to youth school in 8th grade. So 8th grade through high school I started young, like in 8th grade. I would ask all my teachers that I had, who was your most successful student? Yeah. I wouldn't do this in front of the class, but I would always wait and ask. Because I was always curious. I was like, who's your most successful student? They would say X, Y, and Z. And to me, the way my brain started working was like, if all these people know that successful of people, it's not that much of a selective group. Yeah. Like if everyone knows someone that's that successful, then it seems pretty doable.
Yeah.
Because how has everyone that's been in my position, you know what I mean? So it's like, for youth school, like Josh Gad, a lot of them would be like Josh Gad because he went there. And then I would start asking them, what was he like? And none of them were like, no answer was ever, I never really noticed them. Yeah. It was always like, no, he had a different drive to him. He had a different focus to him. He had a different da-da-da. So when everyone's like, you know, like, they're different. Probably if you're using it the right way, that's a good thing. Like, if you want to be average, act average. Yeah. If you want to be great, act great. Like,
usually most people who are different don't claim that they're different.
100%. No, you just live your life. You're not. Yeah,
act of it.
100%.
It's the same thing like when you hear somebody who constantly says, "Oh, I'm happy. Oh, I'm very happy. Oh, I'm like the happiest person alive." Like that person's probably not very happy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
They're looking for you to be like, "Oh yeah,
validate. Yeah.
You seem happy. You seem happy." Yeah, 100%.
So interesting.
You can't like in high school. Another thing is like for me, from my lesson would be like, again, I was very judgmental. Like, how can you not see it the way I see it? Why are you like that? Why don't you think like this yet? Why don't you work like that?
Right.
Especially in that high school space and into college as well. Like for me, I had to realize like, bro, people are still figuring themselves out. 100%. Half the stuff they say, they don't even know what they're saying, and they don't, including myself. Like you're still learning.
For me and him, who are like in our mid to late 20s,
right.
like you're never done figuring yourself
out. But I believe you get a much better idea of like who you want to. Yes. So back to that, results, right? So like you're never going to be the finished, polished product of yourself, but you're going to have your key principles and morals and values of your character, and then everything else of like what happens after that, you're either cool with or you'll live with regret, which is obviously we don't want to do. But like, that's why I think in high school, like I was always trying my best to like, one, get to know myself, and two, really build those principles, those values and that stuff where it's like, other people might not be reciprocating what I'm doing, but I'm going to continue to do it because it feels authentic to me. Yeah. Where it's like having a conversation of whatever, just like, to me, I was never a partier. We've had this conversation always. I didn't drink and I didn't smoke ever. I still don't, but I'm saying in high school, I didn't touch it once, not once. And like, that's rare nowadays. Like, it's very rare. Mm-hmm. And to me, it was like, I never felt that desire. People were like, don't you feel like you're missing out? I was like, no. Not at all. Not even this. If I felt like I was missing out, I would do it. Honestly, like I would, like if I felt like doing it, like
I was genuinely missing out. Yeah,
100%.
People to this day, they'll be like, "Yo, like have a drink." I'm like, "Bro,
I'm good.
27 years, I've never had a drink. What makes you think I'm gonna start now?"
No, yeah, it's like I'm good.
Yeah,
like I'll grab a water. Yeah. We'll still break bread over it. We'll talk. We can do anything. Like
nothing changes.
Nothing changes. Nothing changes, bro. Nothing changes.
And it's, with that story, we said it a previous podcast. It was another example where you're saying about the Josh Gad story, like standing out. That remember the Aiden Ross one that we talked about. I don't know if you heard it, but a coworker of mine, again, knowing someone that knew someone that blew up, he was in UCF in Orlando, and one of his buddies was roommates with Aiden Ross before he even fucking blew.
Before he popped
up. And the image he has of him was that it was like a frat party going on, and he was drinking a beer, and he was walking by this room. The door was cracked open. He looks in, and it's this kid with a white tank top streaming and yelling at his computer. And
there you go.
And it was Aiden
literally
Ross.
To my point. There you go.
And he still remembers that to this day. And he said how like everybody would tell him like, "Oh, dude, come on party. What are you doing?" Like, they had those girls. There was drink. Everything that you could.
Yeah.
And he was just like, "Nah, bro. Like, I gotta do this. And he just stuck to it. And when he would show up to a party or like a club or something, he was with a water. He'll show up for a little bit to show face,
Right.
and he was out. And
100%.
he said that he was just always so driven.
100%. 100%. Like, exactly to that point where I'm sure to him, if you ask him, like, did that feel like a sacrifice not going to that party? He'd be like, no. He'd be like, bro, I loved streaming. That's why I did it.
Yeah.
It's not like, we'll go into this balance. That one really kind of throws me, and everyone's like, you need more balance in your life. And I'm like, everyone has a different scale. I say this all the time to people when they tell me that. I said, my scale can be an elephant and a feather. That's the way my scale sets up. Yours might be different. You might need a 50-pound weight and a 50-pound weight, and that's how you operate. That's your piece. That's your that. For me, there's no, like, I feel like with balance, that's such a word of, like, I have to balance how much I give to other people.
Yeah.
I have to balance how much I let other people in my life. Like, those are things you have to be wary of, because that's either draining you or fueling you. Baseball and that, like, when they're like, you work too hard or you need more balance in your life, it's like, it's not work. That's what people miss, where it's like, you genuinely love waking up and making moves. That's not work to you. You're not like, hold on, guys, I need 2 hours to get my work done. Yeah. It's like, no, I have to pause my work, what I love to do for 2 hours to give you your time and attention. That's more of a sacrifice than me doing what I love. Like, when people are like, yo, let's go out to eat. Of course, you need relationships. I love my friends. I'll do that every time. But that's more of a sacrifice than me going to the gym. Yeah. That, you know what I mean? Like, it's more like, okay, how am I going to figure out time around my day, around the training and everything, to make time for other people? Because that's very, very valuable. That's obviously, like, you need people. It takes a village. And not only that, like, I would like to be around those people, but it's to the point where people are like, you need balance, you need balance, you need balance. I feel like there will be people that are watching this that have heard it a million times, and they feel the same exact way, where it's like, 100%. I feel great. How are you going to tell me, like, how I feel?
I don't really agree with the work-life balance thing people push a lot. It's like, you got to have, the time for your social life, time for your work. At least if you're in the mindset of, like, I want to do something extraordinary. Right? Now, I believe in work-life integration in the sense that when you're at home, or when you're around your, like, for the older folks, when you're around your family and the people, then you're 100% there. Yes. And then when you're working or you're focused on then you're 100% there. Because there's no point of you being at work and then you're trying to focus on fixing your family, or you're with your family and then you're focused on work, because then both things are going to suffer. That's
where I believe the balance thing comes into play.
Yeah. It's work-life integration instead of, like, work-life balance.
100%. Like, to me, the word balance is like, if you're at peace with your scale, that is your balance. I feel like balance, like, it to me has like an almost like, in the terms of when people say you need it. Yeah. It has like a negative connotation of like, do less because it will make me feel better that you're doing less. It's like, no. Interesting. My self-balance is like, am I doing everything to make sure that I'm operating on my highest frequency? That is my balance. Whatever that looks like is going to be that. But telling me you need more balance the way I want you to have more balance, that no. Because now I'm living your life.
I think, exactly. And to your point, like, I feel like more people need to kind of figure out what their life needs, if that makes sense. Like, what your individual life, and not project that on other people. So, like, 100%. Maybe for you, there's, you need the 3-day weekend of I'm going out every single night, and 4 days I'm working. I need that. Right. That's okay. Completely 100%. Cool. That's what you want out of life. But then for somebody who may want to work 7 days for the first 10 years, from their 20 to 30 or 35 or 40, they just want to, like, just work. But then you don't know, maybe 40 to 80 or 40 to 90, they're just, they're chilling. They 100%. Don't have to work anymore. They don't have to, worry about that balance situation, or, like, the same thing, like, you work hard now, or you for an easy life, or you have an easy life now or in a hard life later. It's like 100%. It's that same analogy,
100%. And I feel like a lot of people say that balance thing because they're like, they don't want burnout to happen. Yeah. And to me, it's like, have you ever thought about getting burnt out with your businesses? Never. Have you ever been creating and you're like, I'm getting burnt out from creating a film that I love filming? No. It's not, that's not a real, burnout is from doing something you don't love, but doing it because everyone's told you this is what you need to do. That's what burnout is. I've never been burnt out of baseball. I've been burnt out in other areas where it's like, maybe the crowd I'm around, or I've been around too much, where I'm like, I really just need some time to myself, and that's a balance. But when you're doing something you love, like, that's what you wanted to do.
Bro, even now, today, like, while I'm building businesses. I'm doing multiple different things. For me, basketball is still like a big priority for me.
100%.
It's because a goal I've always had since I was a little kid, and I still find 4 to 5 hours to 6 hours a day just focusing on that.
100%.
Making sure I'm getting shots up. I'm doing ball handling. I'm training cardio. I'm training strength. I'm doing conditioning. All of that stuff, like it. I've never once felt like, oh, this is too much for me.
100%.
I need to take a break, or this is like all I've known since I was, to your point, 13, 14.
100%.
all I've
And that
known.
goes into like something that I was always taught growing up is you can have it all.
Yeah.
You can have it all. Like if it's all about time management, and that's something.
This is actually a great point you're about to make.
The better you get at that, the easier everything flows, because you can have it all. Like a lot of people are like, to be successful, you need to cut off the world.
Yeah,
I
no, I don't think so.
highly disagree with
Yeah,
that.
I don't disagree.
Because I am at my best when I'm around people that love me and I love them, and they're feeding me and I'm feeding them, and I'm getting great guidance and advice where I can be like, hey, V, text you. This is a question I have. Hey, Talon, this is a question I have. Where you guys can get back to me. If I had that mindset of like, you don't need anyone, tunnel vision, all this stuff they talk about, where it's like, okay, now if you do everything, you get everything you want. Who do you have to share it with?
Yeah.
You're on the top of the mountain for everyone to see you versus for you to see the view. Like that's another thing that I've heard that I really like, where it's climb the mountain not to be seen, but to see the view. That's why you climb. And it's to the point of like, you can literally have it all. Like we're in high school, a big thing in sports is like, no girlfriends, no nothing.
Yeah.
This is your life.
No
You better do that.
distractions, no nothing.
Now, as we all know, how easy it is if you wake up at 7, you eat your breakfast, you read your book, you do whatever you need to do, you meditate. Okay, now you're charged.
Yeah.
Now you give an hour to the girl. You have breakfast with her, you take her on a date, whatever. It's not even 12 o'clock yet.
No.
How many hours are you going to practice?
Yeah.
Constructively.
No.
What are you going to
facts.
practice? 6 hours constructively?
Facts.
Movement and progress are two different things.
No, 100%.
You can spin in a circle and get nowhere. You can take 2 steps and make more progress than
Yeah.
someone else that's just I'm doing a lot, but I'm doing a lot of nothing.
No, it's what my dad used to say. Like, there would be a lot of summers, like, right before, when we'd be in travel ball or whatever. And my dad would be like, yo, like, I understand you're playing ball and you're training, but, like, what else? Like, you have the rest of your day. What else are you building? Like, what else are you working on? And that really sparked that love for business for me.
Right.
It's because I would be in the office and I'd be watching him work, and I'd see him, putting in how he did with other people, and to your point, like, through him, thankfully, I met a lot of people that were a lot older who were successful.
Right.
And I got to see, there's a saying Tony Robbins has, crunching decades into years.
Yeah.
It's like what somebody else, it took them 10, 20 years to accomplish. If they can tell you what it took to get there, then that scrunches that up to years for you. Now you have to
100%.
figure it out, because you're a lot, you have this wisdom that's coming from other people. And to your point, like when you were that age and you would come up to older people and you'd have conversations with them, and you really enjoyed that because that's what you wanted out of life. You sought more wisdom, more, things that would help benefit you in your craft.
Right. And I was
the same
craving
thing with
those
me.
conversations as well, where it was like,
100%.
where it was like, wow, okay, so I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy like all these people try and tell me like, you're weird, or why do you think like that? And then you go around successful people and you're like, my people, what's up?
That's so important.
No, it's crazy because I would be at travel tournaments with other people playing basketball, and I would be more comfortable at seminars. with my dad.
100%.
Like
100%.
with people who are on the panel who get a chance to have like a Q&A, and I'd be like asking them questions or get a chance to talk with them. And I felt more comfortable there than I did like in between games sitting with teammates.
100%.
They didn't have the same ideology that I had.
Right.
They didn't even approach the game the way I approached the game.
100%.
And so it's very, I guess, long-winded. What we're trying to say is just, you got to find what works for you.
Always.
It's just and it's
everybody's forever different. Evolving.
Yes.
But to your point, I really like the like crunching decades into years, because I think that's why we wanted to do this too. Because I feel like I love listening to the Marcus Stromans and all these different dudes that are giving me insight at 26, 27, 34, like in that age range. Because to me, it's like, that's such an advantage of hearing what that guy's like at that age in his career, especially with like avenues that aren't very conventional. So like when these athletes are talking about, I try and stay creative, I do this on the side and you're like, wait, that's okay? Because everything I've always been taught is the most successful do nothing but that. They wake up, they play baseball for 24 hours, and they go to bed for 7 minutes, and then they wake up and do it again. That's not true, bro.
No.
Like all the whole thing of like, especially for younger, because I went through this, I did this, so it's like a lesson. All that like talk of successful people don't sleep. No, that's not true. First of all, that's just not true.
That's a quicker way of cutting years off your life real quick. It's just
Not like that, but
sleeping.
you're not going to be like, the quality of work is more important than the quantity of work, almost always. But again, depending on what age, if you're 14 years old and you just need to like catch up with reps, yes, you do need to just go crazy on the reps, and then you'll start fine tuning because you don't even know what you're trying to do yet.
100%.
You just need to get a feel, like you need to know that this is what I love to do no matter what.
Yeah.
But to that point of like the 4 hours and this and that, it's like you said, find what works for you, and then just like continue to evolve with that. And that's really what it is. Like that's what it comes down to.
I agree with you because I was of the same mindset, like with the whole preaching of don't sleep, and I took it literally from high school all the way till like literally this year. It was one of my big goals is to fix my sleeping schedule.
100%.
It's because I was so used to 3-4 hours of sleep, getting up and having a full day of just boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, grinding gears.
Yeah. And literally, like from an athletic perspective, that's abusive because you're going through weightlifting, you're going through whatever reps. If you're playing ball, that's even more. 'Cause you're banging with other people,
right?
So it was like to the point where you have to not let that you have to find what works for you. Again, it goes back to that.
Rest is getting better.
Yes.
Rest is getting better. I promise you. Your body, shout out Zach.
Yeah.
Listen when your body whispers because it'll eventually will scream if you don't.
Shouting.
And it will stop you. And you, as an athlete, the best ability is availability. And that's probably life too.
Very
but I'm
true.
speaking from my perspective. Like,
No,
you could be the best player on the field, but if you're always hurt, or if you're never there, or you're half tired, or you're showing up late and you get in trouble, like, you're not helping anybody, bro. Especially not yourself.
Yeah.
But to your point of like the compounding, like I really like that idea because that's what we talked about, like this podcast of like someone taking what I said. Because hopefully, like when we do stuff like this, there's going to be a 12, 13, 14-year-old that eventually watches this and they're going to say, okay, Grant started when he was 13. I'm going to start when I'm 11.
Yep.
And not only that is, okay, Grant did, like, so for me in high school, when we're talking about like the work and like listening to Inky and shout out those guys. They're
100%.
great. Like, I'm not saying it's bad information, but it's just the maturity of learning what they really mean.
Yeah.
And it's more of a mindset rather than they're literally killing themselves.
Yeah.
It's the mindset that I'm willing to do anything to get to where I want to go rather than I'm actually going to do everything possible. I'm going to run a 30 miles. Like, but to my point, like there's a big evolution in my training compared to now than what I was when I was 14, 15, 16 years old. Like
100%.
when I was 14, 15, 16, people that are high school, like talking about the social media and all that, I get people reaching out to me now who are like, bro, I remember you used to post pictures at the staircase at 4:30 in the morning on a school day.
Yeah.
And to me, I was like, that's what I was on though. Like that's really, I was living that. Like that's what I was doing like 4, 5, 6 times a week.
Yep.
Where I'm waking up at 4 o'clock, maybe 4:30 in the morning. I'm going to the NSU staircase. If you know, they're there. They're 4 stories. It's a good staircase.
Yeah.
But then it was not only that. I would go do that, and then I would go just trying to get as much better as I possibly could. I started. I would ask the high school football coach if I can go to morning workouts because that's just like how competitive I was when I was younger. Where all my boys were football players, Marcus and all them boys. Where it was like, they're like, oh, we woke up at 6 this morning to go work out, and I was like, I don't like feeling outworked. So I was like, I want to go. So I would start going to the stairs, and I would go to morning spring football. I wouldn't be in pads, obviously, but these boys are in pads, doing whatever they're doing. I'm running with them. Then I would go to baseball practice, normal high school baseball practice, and then one of my teammates or myself would take me to perform. And I did that for 4 years. And it only got crazier and crazier and crazier because it's like you build those calluses of like, how much can my body take? How much can my body take? And there's value in that.
100%.
But there's also would have been a lot of value if I learned how to use that energy more wisely. Like at a certain point, you're not getting better.
Right.
Where you're just doing things to do things. But you don't know that. Like I didn't know that at that time. At that time, I was just like, I'm just going to grind.
Yeah.
I'm going to grind. I'll outwork everybody. I don't care.
Yeah.
I want all of you. Like I want to beat every single one of you in everything. I don't like feeling outworked in anything. But then you learn, like, that's when you start learning of like, you don't compare yourself to other people. What they're doing has nothing to do with what you're doing.
At all.
If you do an hour of work, that's it. If you feel good, you shut it down, and you feel like you're getting better, then you shut it down. If you other days you need 3 hours, you need 3 hours. Like me and T laugh about all the time. Like my recovery days was like a Sunday in high school. I didn't do this all throughout high school. This is just an example. Whereas like I would go on these little periods of doing different things where like I went a couple months where I would do a 20-mile bike ride every Sunday. And that's not recovering at all. But to me, I'm like, T, I'm just bike riding. He's like, yeah, but you're bike riding for 4 hours. I was like, yeah, but what else am I going to do?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, but that's the evolution. So take that from me.
Yeah.
Where be like, the younger that you can be a pro, the longer you'll probably be a pro.
It's true.
And it's back to your point, like way earlier when you were talking about, you always felt like people were watching you.
Yeah.
And I heard this in a Joe Rogan podcast where he was talking about this, and I felt this to my core, and I know it's gonna hit both of you because you'll just know. He was like, you should live your life like someone's documenting your life.
Yeah.
How much, how do you live when that happens? And I was like, bro, that's how I felt since I was in eighth grade, where it was like everyone used to tell me, if you want to be a pro, act like a pro. And I was like, okay, don't tempt me with that because I'm gonna do that. You know what I mean? Where it's like I said, you're the same way. High school, I didn't go out.
No.
Like I maybe went to 3 parties. I went for an hour. I was like, this isn't it. The only reason I went is because my boys were going.
Yep.
And again, it would be like, this is not for me. And I would leave and I would go home. I'd go to bed. I'd go train the next day.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's just like what I did and I have no regrets of that. I'm the same way in college. I just haven't been out in college either. And if anything, it's gotten more disciplined, more exactly where it's like, maybe in 9th grade, you're like, you know what? Maybe what am I missing out? Everyone tells you like, have that experience. So you go and then you're like, okay, this is going to be here forever. And I was always taught that by very good coaches where it's like, women, bars, drugs, all that is going nowhere. They're still going to be there. They're always going to be there. But your glimpse in time to get as much better as you want is fast. Fast. Think about a male. Our prime's what? 24 to 33? Like athletically.
Yeah.
Athletically, 24 to 34 in that range. Bro, that's nothing. How fast has the last 6 years gone for you guys?
Been insane, man.
Bro.
Right. So 6 years for me, I'll be 26. I'll be in my prime. What am I doing now to maximize and capitalize on that?
Yeah.
That's all that matters. You know what I mean? Like, it's all about your priority now. So like when if I have a wife in 10 years, that priority is going to change. You know what I mean? I'm not losing my family over baseball.
Right.
And it just changes. And that's that constant evolution. And there's nothing wrong with evolving. That's another thing I've had to learn where it's like people get an idea of you and they have your reputation and they're like, he's like this. And I've had to learn where it's like, why can't I change that?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like I can forever, how I felt yesterday, that's why I'm always a little wary, like the podcast, I've told you this, where it's like, it's a little scary because I can have a perspective on this and the way I am.
Change tomorrow.
I can have a completely different perspective on it where I don't even feel that way anymore because you grow up and you like, think about how you thought about maybe girls, or I'm just using that as an example because most guys can relate with that.
Right.
When you were 16 to now.
Yeah.
Unbelievably different. When you were 16, you didn't even look. You're like, basketball, whatever, they don't even matter.
No.
They're going to be a distraction. When you get older, you're like, but if they make me better, why not?
Yeah.
If I'm really truly living to my word of like, I want to do everything that can make me better.
Yeah.
If someone walks into your life, regardless of what other people think, they're like, damn, V's distracted. He's got a girlfriend now. It's like, you're not in my life, bro. She makes me, if anything, she makes me go to the gym more now. And that's the thing, bro. Like from the outside, it's a scary world we live in where it's like Instagram and Twitter where it's like, he's like this.
So much, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, bro, like for example, we post on our Instagram a lot, but we do that, like at least I do it. I know you do too, like in an inspiring way. It's never, no one cares how many crunches I do.
No.
I know that. It's not like, ooh, wow, I did 10. Yeah, we've talked about this since we were
so many times.
Yeah, 13, 14 years old where it's like, I know no one cares how many crunches I do. No one cares that I'm curling a 25 weight fast. My thing is I want to post that because like if I can wake up every day and keep chasing, so can you. And when you're feeling a little down in such a world of negativity, let's be negative. Let's bring everybody down. I hope to be a little bit of light of like, yo, I saw Grant working out. Like it kind of inspired me. Like I put that cookie down.
Yeah.
Or you know,
so true.
instead of going on a bad thing, like, you know what? I ended up going to the gym that night. I walked 5 minutes. That's bettering, bro. Like no one's to judge you. Oh, you ran 1 mile versus 3.
That's needed, dude. Yeah. That's needed because I see it all the time on social media. People are so comfortable with negativity.
Yeah.
Oh my,
like, it's a comfort zone. It's a comfort zone.
100%.
Like
100%.
If you're not, and I see it like it's like on Twitter too. It's really weird, but like
Twitter's bad.
It's like really people are so comfortable with negativity.
Yeah.
Where it's like if you're not negative with them, it's almost like, oh, why are you being like positive right now?
Who are you right now?
It's like, yeah, what? Like, why aren't you just like?
That's that one. Who do you think you are?
Who do you think you are?
Like, a rich man will teach you how to get rich. A poor person will teach you how to lose money.
Yeah.
Both are equally as valuable. Like when people are like, he's younger than me, I can't learn anything from him.
No.
You're crazy. No. Or they're too old.
Bro.
No way, bro. I learn from kids around me all the time.
From every single person.
A perfect example. Literally today, I'm asking you questions. You're 6 years young. I'm 26, so you're 6 years younger than me. And I'm sitting here and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm taking.
Right,
I'm like,
right,
bro,
right.
I am listening. And you know,
Bro,
and
there's so
a lot
many
of
times
people
like
that won't.
the reason another thing why we got along so well, just it's like every
Always.
time I talk to him, it re-inspires me into what like dial in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that simple. It's when you meet somebody else who's as dialed in, and that can be older, younger. That can be somebody else who may be way older than you that's doing a lot worse than you.
Mm-hmm.
But they're
Right.
dialed in.
It's
They want-
intent.
It's intent.
Intent.
It's energy, bro.
Intent and like, yeah, I guess intent is the best word, but like
No,
your
100%.
aura.
Yes.
You meet people off their aura fast.
Yeah.
Like if you're very in tune and you're a spiritual person,
Oh, 100%.
you can normally get a pretty good idea of
Even-
someone quick.
Here's the crazy part. Even if you're not in tune or a spiritual person, you can
Right.
get an idea within 2 seconds of whether you want to actually interact with this person or you don't, based off
Right.
of body language, based off things we don't even understand.
For sure.
But something will tell our mind like that's a good person, or no, avoid, or you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I think it's
it
a
happens
human
almost
nature.
immediately.
100%.
And
It's
so
a
it's
human
like-
nature thing.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. But yeah, it's like you're gonna learn something from somebody no matter what, bro. There's somebody out there who may have had life give them the boot time and time and time again,
100%.
and they're gonna tell you something, and that's gonna resonate with you to make sure maybe you want to avoid something that they might have done that caused those mistakes, or situations like somebody who may have wanted to be a professional athlete, but all of a sudden they fell into drinking and girls, and all of a sudden they fell off, or
100%.
whatever the case may be. There's so many people, bro, from the time that started with me that were way higher ranked than I was that are done playing today.
100%.
And I was way lower ranked, and I'm still in that pursuit. At least I feel. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
100%.
So it's like there's so many people that fell off who had the opportunity, who had everything, college, this, that, everything was lined up, but then they fell off, and you can learn something that they can say that can be like, hey, this is what I did that messed up. I didn't
100%.
pay attention in class, because for a lot of athletes, sometimes sports alone will not get you to college.
Right.
Like you have to have a decent, you have to have something to show the team that's like, okay, he's manageable.
100%.
Right? He can get on.
You
the
got to
team, but
bring
we don't
something.
gotta
That's
worry
life
about
though,
him.
but you have to bring
Yes.
something to the table.
Exactly.
You can't just
Exactly.
eat. No one's ever just gonna. I mean, I'm not gonna say no one, but
There are people, but
right.
it's not
Majority of the
everybody.
time,
Yeah.
you can't just pull up and be like, "Hey, I offer nothing, but I really want everything."
Want everything. Yeah, no, 100%.
No one's gonna put up
Nope.
with that, and nor should they. And I really think you shouldn't want that either.
Yeah,
You should want to be a part of something.
Yeah.
You should want to be like, "I contributed."
Bro, imagine if I gave you, and this is just, let's pretend you're some random person.
Right,
Imagine
right.
I gave you everything. I gave you the house, the car, the money, income,
Right.
and then all of a sudden I'm gone. Like I'm out of your life.
Right.
There's gonna come a time where you don't know how to make that money, and you don't know how to sustain that lifestyle.
100%.
It's gonna be taken away from you.
100%.
So you may have lived 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years that way. But what about the rest? 60, 50, 40 years. And you have no
100%.
skills.
But that's
to
that's
prove
back
for
to
that.
our conversation of like, especially in high school, where I was saying like, if you build like almost everything in life can be taken from you.
Yeah.
If they want it, they're gonna take it. Like the government, they'll find a way to take your car, your house, your everything. But the thing they can't take back, to your point of that, of like if you're if you've truly put in the work, you can always double back and get it
Yeah.
twice.
Mm.
Like because of your character. Character,
Bro.
like if you're in jail,
Yeah.
if you're at the highest peak of
Yeah.
life, you can choose whether to be the same person or let outside influences change you, and that's based off your morals, values, and
100%.
principles.
Bro,
Where it's like, if it rains, great. If it's sunshine, great. Like that's a big thing I try
Bro,
and use in my head of,
there
so
was-
what?
Yeah.
No matter what, so what? Great. You won today, so what? You're gonna have to win tomorrow.
Yeah.
You lost today, so what? Go win tomorrow.
It's
Yeah.
funny. It's like the baseball analogy. You're only as good as your last at bat.
1,000%. What
it's
have you
like
done
what-
for me lately?
Exactly.
Nobody, like how many people do you know that are like, dude, back in the day, right when I hear that, I'm like, here we go. No, it's like,
We talked about this before. So many people that just boast past accomplishments.
Yeah.
Like there'll be somebody on Instagram. I'll just be scrolling, and I get a lot of people that do business, and
no doubt.
literally in their bio it'll be like, made my million at 18, and then it's like they're 30 years old.
Right.
Like, what have you done for 12 years?
Yeah, no,
Why
like
is
if
that
that's
the
really
only thing
if
you're
that's your
bragging
really
about?
life,
Yeah.
it would be like, if I'm 30, I better turn that into 30.
Yeah.
If I got one at 18,
Yeah.
I need 30
I
by
need
30.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
come on.
If I haven't, it's like, okay,
Or,
what are we
bro,
doing?
bro? Like for legit, like people that are actually doing it, they don't have to boast about it.
No,
They don't have to put it up because you can just tell.
no. And
Either
there's
by-
obviously there's a difference. Like, I think people get confused with like a big thing, especially going back to the high school,
Yeah.
because I feel like it's just such a, and it's
No,
life though
100%
nowadays.
true,
It's
though.
not even
It's
just high
100%
school,
true.
but it's
Yeah.
it's such a big thing of like, shh, don't be cocky.
Yep.
Shh, don't tell people your dreams. It's true though. Like, bro, that was me all the time where they're like, you probably shouldn't say that. Why? Because it makes you feel uncomfortable. I'm speaking it out loud. If you don't want to hear, don't hear. But if you ask me, what do you want to be in your life? And I tell you, I want to be an MLB player and I want to be the best I can be. And I want World Series rings and I want Cy Youngs and I want this. And you're like, oh, like, why do you have to say it? Like, why are you so cocky? It's like, you asked me what I wanted. This is what I work every day of my life for. What am I going to, like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, thanks.
Yeah.
There's a difference between being like cocky, being aware, and being humble. Overly humble, I think, will put a ceiling on you. Being overly cocky will be put a ceiling on you.
Yeah.
And I think just being in the moment, like you said, of being present when I'm here of like, what do you want? And if it happens to everyone, when I ask right now, what do you want? Something pops in your head.
100%.
And it's just 100%. It's a matter of do you want to say it? Do you not want to say it? Are you how like
a lot of times like people don't want to say it because they don't want to make it real.
Yes,
so
because then when it's real,
yes.
they think of everyone's out. Like for me, I'm not dumb. Like I know everyone expects me to be like, he's gonna make it.
Yeah.
And what happens if he doesn't?
Yeah.
How is he gonna react if he doesn't? And that's a fact. That is a fact.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's people you know that are like, yo, like if he doesn't make it,
what is he gonna do?
What's he gonna do?
100%.
And
to me, it's like
they're in a way
they're looking for drama.
It's yeah, but like, it's bad to say, but they're looking forward to that.
100%
like,
because they can say, look, I didn't work hard because that's what was gonna happen.
Yeah.
He put in all that and he still didn't make it.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing. Bro, that's prevalent all the time. And to me, again, that goes back to our point of if that's how you want to live your life of looking at everybody else, hoping they fail because now they're on your level, good luck. I don't judge you. If that's how you want to live, that's how you want to live. I am 100% okay with failing. Bro, I fail every day of my life. I fail at something.
Yeah.
Every day. In a throwing session, it's like, wow, that drill was bad. In the gym, it's like, wow, that
rep was terrible.
Yeah, like, wow, I did not move that weight well.
100%.
But it's like, bro, who cares? If you're giving everything you got, like,
there's two ways of having the tallest building in town. One, you just tear everybody else's building down. Or two, you just build your building up.
And which do you think takes more effort?
It's obviously building your own building, bro, because it's very easy to be like, that person doesn't do that well. That person had it given to him. That person,
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%. Bro, it's easy.
Back and be like,
it's like we said, negativity is easy. That's easy. Everyone wants to be
the lowest hanging fruit.
100%.
You don't have to do anything. It takes courageous.
Courage. Yeah, courage.
It's courage and bravery to be like, I want this for my life, and I'm gonna do anything I can to get there.
But not only that, bro, like back to like the negativity versus positivity, I challenge anyone. I try and do this. I'm not perfect, obviously, but I genuinely try and do this. At least once a day, bring one person up by one comment.
100%.
When you see how, and again, we've talked about this too. You don't give to get back. That's not why you give. You give because you want to give.
Yes.
There's a very, very big difference. It's not, I'm going to give this person a ride, so they'll forever owe me a ride.
Yeah.
There's a huge, huge difference. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I give where it's like, for example, one of my boys today, he puts on a Snapchat that he graduated like firefighter school. I'm like, bro, congrats. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That little effort goes such a long way in your life and in other people's life where it's creating a habit of you only see positive.
Yep.
Some people will look at that and be like, that person graduated because their dad paid for everything.
Yeah.
Think about how weird that thought. Like to me, it's like it's like nails on a scratchboard. It's like, how can you even think like that?
Yeah.
But how real is that?
Yeah.
You're only at that school because daddy's
that,
money
that.
or mommy's money or this and that. It's like, for one, if it is, who cares? You're not in that situation anyways. So if you want that, you better figure it out.
It's funny though, because it's like shaming somebody for their parents doing right. Like,
or not only that, like you don't know.
You don't know.
So how about let's go even a step further where it's like, don't even say anything at all if it's not like back to kindergarten, bro.
Positive.
I say it all the time. Kindergarten rules. If you have nothing positive to say, don't say it.
Yeah.
Bro,
Don't
that's
say
cancerous.
Bro, it's
100%.
cancerous. I'm glad you used that word.
Bro, it
if
is.
you say something mean to me, now I'm thinking about what you said and all of that.
You're in a negative space.
Space. Now I meet him by chance and he says something, he shares his aspirations,
100%.
he shares his goals. I'm like, no.
Yeah, you're already in that vibe
I'm
of
I'm negative.
Right.
Whereas if I was in a uplifted space where I could feel like, I always go back to this, bro. If you were the person at your highest level in your mind, who you are, somebody does something really well, whether that be let's say they got pregnant with, the love of their life, or they secured a big exit for a company that made like $50 million.
Right.
Somebody graduated school and you didn't get a chance to graduate school, but you're in you're doing what you want to be doing, you're not going to look at that as a threat.
Ever.
You're going to look at that and be like, bro, congratulations. Like, you're doing it. Like, keep pushing, keep going. Like, let's go.
To the top.
You're pushing positivity onto them.
100%.
I say this all the time. Like, even if you're not there, pretend you're your highest self.
Right.
Let's say your best friend got the MLB job, right? You're not going to be like, bro, like, oh my, can't believe he got it before I did or whatever. Whatever the case may be. You know what I mean?
That's such a, I agree with you.
It's such a weird thought.
It's
like,
such a weird thought
you're already
process.
there. Imagine you've achieved what you want to achieve. Now operate from when somebody shares some good news with you and share that energy.
But not only that, like a big, like, evolution for me as well is other people's success has nothing to do with your acquisition of success or lack thereof.
Yes.
Has nothing, bro. I heard this from someone that was talking to me about in baseball, where a lot of dudes get caught up in the minor leagues of competing with teammates of like, I hope he fails so I get called up versus it has nothing to do with it. We can both get called up.
Yeah.
There's enough, bro. Money is printed.
Yep.
There's enough money to go around.
Yeah.
If you're making money, it's like you making 50 mil has nothing to do with me not making 50 mil or making 50 mil. If I'm doing something well enough, we're both going to make 50 mil. We're like, hey.
The facts, though.
And not only that, we can help each other get to 60 versus if we're enemies, we're focused on each other and not making money.
Exactly.
Now you're distracted.
Bro, you think the people that are sitting at the top that are doing well for themselves are looking at somebody else's paper?
Never.
Not a chance. You think Joe Rogan cares that another podcaster got $120 million a year?
Never.
You think Kyle Kuzma cares that De'Aaron Fox got $50 million more than him for his max contract? They might joke about it.
Bro, do you think these most successful people are sitting on Twitter putting negative things under other people's comments? No way.
Nobody has time for that.
Bro, no way.
That.
There's no way.
It's
and
so
I'll give you a
funny.
perfect example of that, bro. Like, for me, like, I find laughter in it. 'Cause you have to, bro. So, like, I'll give you an example. We're at a regional. So, this is playoff baseball for college baseball. We're in Kentucky. I start the elimination game. I didn't pitch great. I didn't pitch horrible, but I definitely didn't pitch great. And I made the big mistake. Of course, you go on Twitter.
Yeah.
You see things.
Yeah.
It's like the 5 people is like, the Grant experiment is not working. And bro, you gotta, it's like, this Siegel kid, why did we start him?
Yeah.
Grant is like terrible.
Yeah.
Why is he on the team?
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, one, you know my name and I don't know yours.
Damn.
Period.
Yeah.
You took hours out of your day to watch me throw a baseball.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for your support. Like, there's no, like, literally, if I could, I mean, you can, but I would never do this. But, like, for me, the best way I would handle that, I'd be like, thank you for supporting us.
Yeah.
And that's literally like, bro, there's comedy in it. Like, that's where people have to understand, like, hating on people is, bro, like, when you get to a point of how comfortable you are with yourself, it's comedy. It's like, it's literally funny because it's like,
honestly,
I laughed when I saw it. Like, bro, we lost. That's not funny ever. But I'm saying, like, when you get back to the hotel room, you're like, you're with your teammate, like my roommate. And I'm like, bro, look what they were saying. And he's like, bro, that's hilarious. And I was like, bro, I know. They got me. You know what I mean? Like,
bro. But you'd rather take it that way than let it get you down.
why would I let it get me down, though? Are they in your shoes?
Nope.
Are they on your level?
Nope. Do they want what you want?
Right. Do they, yeah. Have they, you know what I mean? Like, bro, these are like, I'm not going to say fans of me, but they're baseball fans.
Yeah.
They're out there watching baseball, bro.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they're right to have that opinion. Like, where people say you're not allowed to be negative, I disagree with that as well.
Yeah.
Because you're allowed to have that feeling. You have that investment of watching our games. You want us to succeed. You want the best product on the field, and you want West Virginia players to play at their best.
Facts.
You're like, and I love that because hold me to that standard.
Yeah.
Just like MJ always says, I never took a night off because it might be someone's first time watching me play and their last time watching me play. They're going to remember Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
So if I have an off night, they're going to forever remember me as, yeah, Grant did bad that game. That's how I remember him. Versus like other people where they see you have a great game, like, yo, he's the greatest ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just how, like, you know what I mean?
The same person, like 2 games later, when you help them win.
It is the same person, bro. It is. That's what people don't understand. Like, a good game, Grant Siegel, and a bad game, Grant Siegel, is probably a little bit of a, back to your point of like, where was my energy at before that game?
Yeah.
That's almost always what it is because it's always mental, bro.
Yeah. 100%.
When I'm in a good mental space, bro, I can't be touched, bro.
Yeah.
I feel, bro, I can throw the ball wherever I want. I could do this. You're not hitting me. When I'm thrown off a little bit, if I get in an argument with someone before the game or on game day, someone threw me off, which is an evolutionary thing because I need to get to a point in life where nothing shakes you in general, which is I've gotten extremely better. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Maturity. But think about it. Like I'm saying, if a 15-year-old can hear this now before they go into their next basketball game of their friend said, bro, you're not going to score 30. And they're like, water off a duck's back. Like not who is that kid in a bad way, just like who are you to tell me what I can and cannot do?
100%.
Bro, like that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
I feel like in life where nothing shakes me, bro.
Yeah.
Nothing. Bro, you're the worst. Thanks.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
Thanks for watching.
I'm sorry
Appreciate
I did.
you.
Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
That's literally how I reply.
I'm sorry I didn't throw a CG. You know what I'm sorry. I am. I wish I did. I apologize. Versus these people are coming at my neck.
Yeah.
Or you go into like, some people like go into like,
Some people like Kevin Durant, bro.
Self-doubting.
Oh, true.
Where it's
That's
like,
true,
wow,
too.
are they right? Man, you know they're wrong.
Yeah.
If you know in your heart you give it everything you got, you've had success before, bro. You're going to be all right.
That's why I feel like self-awareness plays such a big part into it. It's like
It's everything.
Yeah.
It's everything. Bro, that's what we were talking about earlier. Self-awareness of knowing if it feels right and I'm not hurting other people and it's right to me, and back to like your filmmaking thing. If it feels right, you know you're doing right.
Yeah.
If it feels like, I don't know, I kind of wake up and it's like, if you have to second guess it, like when people ask me like, how do you stay, and I'm sure both of you guys get these comments and all that, how do you stay so dedicated, so motivated? We don't even use those words. I've known you since I was 13.
Yeah.
We've never used the word of like, bro, I need to get more motivated.
Yeah.
How do you get more motivated? It's just like, it's not even a thought of like, do I want to get up today to go? Like, for example, Saturday morning, 8:30, we run the hills every Saturday.
Yep.
To us, that's not early anymore.
No.
When we were younger, it probably was because we weren't that evolved yet of like, you get to that point where it's not even
It's
a
like you
thought.
said, you build
It's just
the
when and
calluses.
where. It's
You
when
build
and
the
where
calluses.
versus will I.
Yeah.
It's not yes or no. It's when and where.
Yeah.
That's what it turns. Like for me, I'm at a point now where it's not
100%.
even a thought of like, wow, I really want that ice cream.
Yeah.
Or like, wow, I really want to go. It's like, I'm such in a great group, bro. I love what I do. Like, if you want to judge that, all right, I
Yeah.
guess. Like,
No,
if that's how
exactly.
you want to spend your days, bro,
Yeah.
you got that. Like,
Yep.
you got me.
Yep.
Because everyone, bro, you're never going to be perfect ever.
Yep.
Because everyone's like, even if you're a $500 million MLB player, someone's going to be like, yeah, but you weren't better than Babe Ruth. And it's
true.
like, okay, you never,
Bro,
bro, you're
LeBron.
never going to, LeBron, greatest basketball player ever.
Guy, debatable. But
Statistically.
100%.
Okay, the greatest basketball player
basketball
ever.
player.
Okay, period.
You're right.
Doesn't mean you like him the
no.
most, but he's the greatest
But getting to the point I'm
basketball
making-
player.
This is literally the point I'm making.
Right.
Like LeBron, still doing everything. Bro, he had every odd against him when he was in high school, and they said, yo, this kid's coming out of high school, going to the NBA, he's the first projected round pick. He surpassed every single expectation ever laid out for him.
And they were already so high.
And they were already
They were
so
like, if he's
high.
not an all-star, he's a bust.
They
And he's
were
like, okay, I'll do it
already
15
and now,
times.
Now people's
Literally,
biggest
man.
Literally.
biggest argument against him,
The mentality.
Michael Jordan.
And the
Michael
mentality
Jordan.
thing.
You think
It's like,
LeBron gives a fuck.
not at all.
That, like LeBron, like Michael has 6 or whatever.
No.
I have built this entire legacy from my own hands.
Bro, to that
When-
point, Kobe talked about that and his evolution of like, when you're younger, you're like, for him, and I was very similar with this, and he
Yeah.
helped me with that, where watching his old videos talking about all that, where for him, he was like, I want to be the greatest ever. And he took that into his career for a long time.
Yeah.
And he was like, he started as he was getting older, at least the way he explains it, he's like, bro, no one's ever going to give me that.
No. Yeah.
Like some people will, but it's to your point. I'm never going to be universally the greatest ever.
Yeah.
And then he's like, then he started transitioning into how can I be the best I can be ever?
Mm.
And
I know
that's
the
to,
exact interview you're talking about too.
yeah. Well, he talks about it a lot.
In a bunch. Yeah.
And he talks about evolution. And then not only that, he takes it a step further of like, okay, what do people value? Championships. What do I value? Championships. How can I win championships? It takes a team. So he's like, oh, wow, I'm not 18's like a more selfish version of Kobe. It takes a village. How can I push Viraj to get the most out of him? How can I push you to get the
Yeah.
most out of you? Where then he started learning people.
Yep.
And think about how versatile you can be if, especially me, where it's like, and I'm sure this is like the law of attraction and all that, where to some people it might sound manipulative, but at the end of the day, like, it's all about how you look at it. Like, for me, you know, I'm someone that deals much better with direct confrontation. So if you want the best out of me, you're going to come up to me and be like, Grant, you seem lazy today, get on it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, gotcha, thank you. I didn't
you.
realize.
Yeah.
Heard you, got you. Now we're locked in. Versus you tell another person, you think I'm lazy? Like, bro, like, what
Yeah,
am I not
I'm
doing well
lazy.
enough?
Yeah,
And you
start
shut them
questioning
down.
it. Yeah.
Versus some people need a pat on the ass, some people need a smack on the ass.
Yeah.
There's a difference. Some people are like, yo, it's going to be okay. Other people, it's like, yo,
Get it
now.
together. Yeah.
And like, I started trying to use that because people are valuable.
Yep.
You can't do it on your own. And you start to learn, like, not everyone operates the same way I do, and I'm not gonna get the most out of people by doing that. Like a great thing I learned with one of my boys when we were younger, I'd be like, yo, you want to go to the field? And he'd be like, can we do later? I'm like, why? And I used to get him like, bro, show up, let's go. And I learned it actually, our relationship got a lot better. We got a lot tighter and a lot smoother when I started loving on him more. Where it was like, hey, bro, I'm gonna go at 10:30. If you want to come, you can come. Bro, all of a sudden it starts showing up. He's early, he's on time. And it's like, why didn't I do this before?
Right.
And you just learn. That's something I've had to learn. So like, bro, like that's real.
Yep.
That's a real thing. Like a lot of the times, how many times have you not liked a person where, at least for me, where it's like, I don't like them, I don't get along with them. And then you're around them more, either forcefully
100%.
or just it naturally happens. And you're like, wait, we get along way better than I thought. Like, why did I think that? It's, bro, it's a form of communication and understanding of like, you might be at a baby step in one aspect of life and I'm 100 steps ahead of you and you're 1,000 steps ahead of me in a different aspect. 100%. It's all about how we can find the connection and make each other better. Yep. Back to the point of if you make 50, I make 50, but we come together, we're going to make 150.
Point.
So it's all about like, to Kobe's point of like evolving, and like we've been talking on this whole thing about evolving. Bro, where you start like me bike riding 20 miles, I would never do that now. It's like, for what? Like if I wanted to, I would.
What
but
is
it's
it
like,
accomplishing though?
Right. Is that helping me throw better in a baseball game? Probably. Almost guaranteed not. And a lot of my thing, like what I used to tell my trainer or what I used to tell myself too, is like, I'm doing it for my brain. Meditate. Read. There's many different avenues to get to the same place. You know what I mean? Like, think about taking that 20 miles off my body, but I get the same mental clarity out of it, but the minus the physical exertion of my body, where I'm even more calm, bro.
100%.
Where it's like you take 10 minutes a day, and that's a whole other thing. We can go with meditation, breathing, and all that, bro. That's important.
No, it's actually very important though. Like go deeper into that. Like, what benefits have you yourself realized from?
Oh my gosh.
Taking that time out to be more meditative, maybe finding reading.
Huge,
we talked about.
bro.
Just mental aspect. Speak on that, like, because we've gone over a little bit on the physical.
100%.
Like how important? Like I would argue, mental is more important, and we've argued that throughout this whole podcast, pretty much.
I think the mental is everything.
It's everything.
Muso, how you think is how you go.
Yep.
Stuck with me forever. I'm like, wow. Think about that, bro. How many when you've been successful, how are you thinking? When you've failed, how are you thinking?
Yeah.
For me personally, like in baseball, I always say this, I've never been beat at my best.
Yep.
When I'm at my best, I succeed. It's when it's right before release. Oh, is that gonna get hit? Or I didn't really want to throw that, and then I don't have success. And that's from a place of like being so locked in mentally, and bro, it all flows, and it's crazy, that flow state of when it clicks of like mind, body, spirit,
connection.
soul. You're like, whoa, and it's real, bro. And you feel it. You're like, oh my god, this is how it's supposed to feel. And then you're forever chasing that euphoric feeling.
Of course.
But you can't. I've learned you can't, or I haven't figured out yet. To me, it has to come natural. You can't.
Can't
for me,
force it.
I have a very hard time being like, I'm gonna be in a flow state today. I'm gonna ball out. That doesn't work for me. And it's back to that point of like learning those routines and habits. I like habits more than routines. Habits you can interchange. Routine, people think it has to be so XYZ, do this. But the breathing for sure, like again, going back to Stroman and Mike Stud and his Brian Peters and all these different dudes, where Stroman has a breathing coach. Like to me, that I was like, oh my God. So think about it. If he got his breathing coach at 26 and God willing I get drafted, I'm where I want in life and I can afford it, I want to have it at 22.
Yep.
How much longer can I elongate my career by just breathing more properly? Like he was talking about this. Like if I tell both of you to take a deep breath, almost everyone's natural reaction in life is do what?
Yep.
Look where my shoulders are. Look how much tension I have. Like it's a lot of tension. Like
breathe with your stomach.
Life is, your rib cage, your stomach. Like these are things like, in anything in life, if you can conserve energy, why not? Bro, if you can just breathe a little better, think about the clarity. For me, every time I get mad or whatever feeling I'm feeling, how many times have you done something impulsively? I guarantee you weren't in a place of almost never. For me, my most impulsive moments where it's like, I'm gonna send that text, or I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. It's like you're very like in a elevated state versus like
it's not deep breaths. It's not.
No, if you're, I'm not gonna send that text. I'm not gonna make that phone call. I'm not gonna give that person that time of day. and think about how much more like, oh wow, like that's where I need to
Not only
be.
that, just from a neurological perspective, like the more you breathe, the better you breathe. The more oxygen your cells get. Your cells need that to be healthy. It's just very
100%,
basic.
bro. The longer you live,
The longer you live.
100%. But like when people are like,
And in a sports perspective, it gives your muscles better chance to recover.
100%.
When you're breathing better chance to
1,000%, bro.
perform. You know what I mean?
1,000%.
It just changes the game.
100%. And like it's to this, and I don't want to go too deep in this because I'm not in other people's shoes, but I feel like a big thing with nowadays where it's like the social media and I have anxiety and I have depression and I have this and that. I'm not judging you. I don't know what you go through, but I would encourage you to try that. See if that helps you. Just literally breathe.
Breathing.
Like when you start getting those feelings, or maybe like, you know what I mean? Take 5 minutes, take 3 minutes, take whatever it is, just breathe. Like, I think that can help a lot of people. Because again, I'm not going to go into what you should do, what you shouldn't do. I'm not in your head.
Yeah.
I have no idea what you go through.
Yeah.
I can only go through what I go through.
That's what me and him, when we talk on the podcast, we're like, yo, the things we say, like, it worked for us.
Yes.
It may not work for you. Everything works.
Right.
It just might not work for you. You got to find what works for you.
100%.
People are going to tell you got to sleep 2 hours a day and you got to work this way.
Or you have to eat, sleep 12.
Or you have to sleep 12.
Right.
And everything works. You just got to find what works.
100%. And what we're talking about too with that, like I try and be very careful because I don't ever want to come off as I am judging you for how you feel.
For how you feel, yeah.
Because that's dangerous nowadays, obviously.
100%.
That especially with the whole mental health thing.
Yeah.
That's why we're not even gonna get into that.
No, we're not.
Because my opinion on your mental health doesn't matter.
Nope.
Nor should it.
Yeah.
Because your life is that person's life, whatever they're experiencing, their experience.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Everyone has their shortcomings. My shortcoming might be in a different area,
Yep.
but it's just as real as your shortcoming.
100%.
And that's where we can go into that too, like where I'm sure, I think you might have told me this actually. I don't know, but we've definitely had a conversation on it where it's like if everyone throws their problems in a hat, almost always everyone's like, yeah, I'll take mine back.
Yeah.
Like when you start comparing of like, well, I had, you know what I mean? Like it's true though, bro, where it's like, oh, like when you start, and that's another point of like where the world we're at in today of such a divisive world of black, white, Hispanic, good, bad,
straight.
girl, boy, this, that.
Yeah.
Bro, if we all got down to it, we can all have a conversation. Guaranteed. I guarantee you can find one thing that we can all. You love pizza, whatever. Oh, we all love pizza. Bro, you could be, I'm trans, you're black, and you're whatever. Like, bro, it does not matter.
No, at all.
You can find that. And I feel like that's the biggest thing where we're at in life right now with our like society and sports. Like sports brings people together, you know what I mean? And that's just an example of like, back to me, like my evolution of like, judge less, live and let live.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I can't control that.
And by doing that, you also give a chance for yourself to be grateful for the life you have.
100%.
Things that you know, and you have in your life, and you want to appreciate those things because it's like you mentioned, social media today. You see somebody, you might see somebody who might have a better lifestyle than you, might be younger than you, might like you're like yo, like visually, because it's a highlight reel.
Yes,
you're not seeing the real life.
100%.
But on that note though, a lot of people get depressed and they have this anxiety because they don't feel like they're where they need to be in life. But imagine life is a deck of cards. You get a choice of all of these lives, right? Like 52.
Right.
Obviously, everybody in their mind, when they look at social media, they're comparing, like, I want to switch lives with that person.
Yeah.
But
or I
how
want
many
that
times-
aspect.
Or I want that aspect of my life. to
Give
look
and
like
take.
that or this. But what about the kid that's, starving on the street in Pakistan or India or whatever? Anywhere.
United States.
United States.
Yeah.
That deck of cards, if I gave you the opportunity, how many people are like, I want to switch lives? You don't know what card you're pulling out of. In your mind, you're thinking, I'm going to get this card and it's going to be this better life, a better life.
Yeah, everyone thinks the grass is greener.
You're not comparing that there might be somebody who's way lower.
100%. And not to that point, too, of like a whole nother thing, but it's on that same aspect of something I learned where it's like, be extremely intentional with what you ask for out of life.
Yeah.
Because it's back to that manifesting thing of like, one, you don't know what like comes with it.
Yeah.
That's why I was always taught like, be careful what you pray for. Always be careful what you pray for. Because where it's like, God, please, like, I just want to be a professional baseball player. So, okay, I'm going to give you that. But now less time with family, more money, more problems, more stress because now you're focused on trying to play. Bro, there's give and take. There's give and take. Bro. Like when you see that dude on Instagram that you're talking about where it's like, bro, he has 50 million followers. Yeah, you know how many like things he has to do probably that he doesn't want to do on a daily basis, but he has to maintain that image or whatever he has cultivated, bro. There's so many
He
things.
can't do anymore. For somebody, it might be he can't go to the grocery store with his family.
100%, bro.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Messi realized really quickly. He got to Miami. He was in Publix. All of a sudden, people started recognizing him. He's
Right.
like, yo, we gotta leave.
Right. And I can't even imagine that, bro. I can't even. That's on a whole like
Next level.
Yeah, when people are talking about these successful, bro, they're on a whole
Soccer.
Yeah,
other,
It's
yeah,
global.
especially soccer.
It's global.
But like when you talk about, that's a great point though. It's true because it's like high school, college. I feel like so many people are like, wow, I wish I had that hot girlfriend. It's like,
Yeah.
bro, you don't know they're both cheating on each other. They
Oh.
fight every night. They hate each other. It's good for a day. It's bad for 6 days.
Yeah,
Social
it might
media,
look good
man.
on social media,
Yeah.
but then that person's not helping you to be better, helping you to grow as a person.
100%.
They're not mentally stimulating. You can't have a conversation with them.
Bro.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
There's
100%. 100, bro. 100%.
So-
Like visual is important. You obviously to yourself too.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to be, I don't know how to word it the correct way. Like you've envisioned your life a certain way.
Yeah.
And you can manifest it, you can get there. But as long as your balance is right, where it's like visually I feel comfortable with my life is at, like I like the way I'm healthy,
Yeah.
I'm confident, I'm cool.
Yeah.
I love that. But not only that, on the inside I look good. Now we're in a good spot.
Yeah.
Now it's like, okay, now you start getting in that flow, and now you're flowing through life,
Yeah.
which is a whole nother
Well, it's
elevated,
different. Yeah, very different. level.
right? Because there's a difference between getting into flow state for an event and being in flow through life. Back to our point of like where I want to get to of, bro, you literally cannot rock me because I'm so self-aware. Like if you're like, yeah, but you don't even throw that hard. It's like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. You got it.
Yeah, I agree.
It's true.
That's what I'm working on.
Very
You know what I
true.
mean? Or it's like, because people always do that. They always try and
Yeah.
throw jabs, and that's natural.
Bro,
Like,
what bothers people the most is their insecurities.
right,
So
but
if I
that's
pick at
to
you,
my point.
That's
Where
what
like
I'm saying.
where you turn insecurities to not even a word.
Bro,
Where it's like,
exactly.
it's
But
not
what I'm
insecure, it's
saying is,
just who I
imagine
am.
Imagine if I told you, yo, Grant, you got a purple face, bro. It's
Like,
not even gonna phase you.
right,
I don't
right.
have a purple face.
Right.
I know I don't have a purple face.
Right.
It's that.
Or if
It's
I
like-
did, it would be like, yeah, I see
Yeah.
it every day in the mirror,
I get
bro.
it. I got it.
I check in on myself.
Exactly.
Where-
the-
yeah, 100%.
It's people let those types of things impact
Right.
because they don't feel like you got to turn that, to a point where it doesn't matter anymore. The
Yeah.
jabs, the attacks, the snarky comments.
100%. Like you got to get to the point.
And-
Like, and it's back to like being your best version that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, I truly also believe where people might, some people view this. I've met a lot of people that view this as selfish. I don't think it's selfish at all. It's just
Right.
my opinion. For me to be able to fully love you, I need
Yeah.
to fully love myself.
Myself.
For me to be my best for
Mhm.
you, I need to fully be my best.
Yeah.
Back to the point of like, for example, if we all had to let something affect us negatively today, how well do you think this podcast would go? Not well. You need to come into these things where you're like at a place of peace and like, let's
Yeah.
talk in a place of clarity and
Yeah.
like, let's talk from a place of good vibes.
Yeah.
Versus if we all came in here of like, like if we had a
Or if
fight
you came in-
earlier.
or if you came in just had you were thinking about something else and you just weren't in the highest energy state. You would
Right.
come in here, you wouldn't give the insights you're giving right now.
No way.
You know what I mean?
It would
You
be a
might-
place
you-
of like
You
selfish.
miss something just off of your mind. You might miss something. You might
Right.
be like, I'm not thinking about that right now, and it wouldn't even come out.
100%.
'Cause some part of your subconscious is focused on whatever you were dealing with earlier, and that
100%.
energy is carrying over.
And how many times, like for you guys both, like you watch a podcast and literally it might be 2 hours long. One sentence changed your life. To me, multiple times.
Almost.
And if that
talk about
creative
this all the
state,
time.
if that creative state was never, if that person was never one vulnerable enough to share,
Yeah.
you have to be vulnerable enough to share. But two, like in that correct state, one, they wouldn't have said it. Two, if you're not in that correct state to absorb what we're talking about,
Powerful.
to you, it's gonna come off very judgmental that I'm telling you this is how you should live, rather
Yeah.
than I'm literally
Oh,
just
you're-
telling you my experience.
Yeah.
You can take it
How you
however
want
you
it to.
want. And I'll give a great example of this. Shout out Danny Prada.
Yep.
He's at Heartway Church.
Yep.
Talon has taken me there before. When I first went there, I told him, I was like, yo, like I felt like Danny was like getting on me. And he was like, that's great. Like that means that you're like absorbing it, you're hearing. I was like, yeah, but like, what does he know?
Yeah.
And me and Talon had like a great moment of him saying like, you only feel like that because you might have not ever checked yourself that way, and
Right.
hearing it from someone else, it made you feel uncomfortable. And I was like, bro, light bulb. I was like, I'm just taking it personal because I'm like, why is he saying that about me?
Yeah.
And instead of like, oh wow, like he's not coming at me
Yeah.
at all. He doesn't know anything about me. How would he
Yeah.
know that?
Yeah.
And it turned into like, getting into a place of like, that's insightful rather than, yo, he's judging me. He thinks he's above all of us by saying all this stuff. Because I was in that place of like, that's how it came off. I don't think Danny's a judgmental guy at all. I'm not saying that.
Shout out Danny.
Yeah, shout out Danny. You're the man. But I'm saying like the way I interpreted it was like, why is this guy coming at me like that? Where he would be like a great one that he talked about, like one of his lessons one time, or I don't know if lesson's the right word, but whatever. Yeah. It was super impactful to me where he was talking about like our traumas. And he was like, we hold on to our traumas because it gives us the blanket to fall on.
Safety blanket.
Where a lot of people, like, if you're always injured, you always have a crutch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot of people.
You don't have to talk about how you performed because you were hurt.
100%. And he talks about that. And I was like, wow, that is phenomenal. Yeah. Because how many things, like myself included, where it's like, if you give yourself the excuse, you're going to always take the excuse. Yeah. And that goes into a book that I read. I think you've read it. I think we've talked about this with Jocko Willink. I think that's how you say his last name.
Yeah.
And it's called Extreme Ownership. And bro, it's phenomenal. And it changed my mind on that because his thing is it always comes back to you. Like whether you want it to or not, where it's like, if you're a business of 4 people and the business fails and you forever hold onto that, the way to get rid of it and be like, and move on is like, it failed because of me. Just put it on yourself. It's that much easier because you could have always done more.
Very true.
If we lose a game, like for example, I'm using the baseball analogy again, where it's like a lot of people be like, I didn't do that well because my shortstop made an error and this. Well, buddy, you're throwing the ball. For me, like what I always say, if you want to give up less hits, don't let them hit the ball. You're the one letting go of the ball. So like if you want to make excuses of someone messing up a play and it messed up your game and all that, bro, you're the pitcher. Don't let them hit it. Boom. And I feel like that's the same way in life of like this relationship went haywire and it was their fault. And it's like, really? Yeah. You want to go there? Because there's always both sides, bro. There's 100%. Always both sides. We were talking about this the other day. A yes to someone is a no to somebody else. Yep. And that's where we always go back to intentions. If your intentions are set and your intentions are good, where it's like, I want to treat you the best I can, but treating you the best I can, someone else that wants my attention, but we're going out to eat, to them, they're like, yo, he's doing me wrong because we're not hanging out. Yeah. Bro, that's how it is. But my intentions were never to hurt you. My intentions were to hang out with the person that I wanted to hang out with. And it's all about those intentions. And that's where you can have, in my opinion, that peace of mind where it's like, if your intentions are always solid, you'll forever be solid. If you never meant to hurt anyone, if you've never purposely crossed anyone, you'll be all right, bro. But if like there's like a big thing, like that's where you have to be able to let go of that extreme ownership. And to that other point of like evolution, of being super confident and being super comfortable saying, I'm wrong, I messed up. And then the next step, I apologize. And bro, that will forever give you peace of mind. And I've
so important.
Bro, it is. So I've gotten much better at that throughout the years. And I'm not perfect at all, ever. But I'm saying like, it not only does it give you so much peace of mind, but it gives that other person so much peace of mind of like, you don't want other people to be living in pain, especially if you caused it. Right. Where you get to that point where like, damn, bro, I probably shouldn't have said that. And it takes 30 seconds to go on your phone and say, either call them or this is something I've been practicing where I'd be like, yo, I was thinking about our conversation. I said this. I didn't really mean it that way. This is how I meant it in case you took it a different way. Yeah. And if I hurt your feelings or if I felt like I was judging you, I apologize. And bro, it's amazing how much better responsive other people are to you when you act and move that way versus like,
take it how you took it or whatever.
I didn't mean it any type of way, bro. You just take it how you took it.
Yeah. Take it how you take it.
See how like negative, even that comes up. Like, of course,
even the gestures we just did were very
different. It's very like you stay over there, I stay over here. Versus, and I'm sorry. Like there's it's like a very it's like it's very much softer.
I never meant it that way.
100%.
I hope you didn't take it that way. If you did take it that way, I'm sorry. Look at how different that is.
Way
just
different,
energy wise.
Versus,
nah, you took it that way,
bro. You're being soft, bro. Yeah. Where it's like, no,
I didn't even mean it like that. But all of a sudden now I feel like you did mean it like that. You're hiding, you know what I mean?
Bro, like that's a big thing I've learned where it's like a lot of people have told me it's not always, this is like very universal, but it's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's not like what was said, it was how it was received, things like that. And like that's something I've learned where with, especially with women and females and stuff where, if I was never around and I never gave effort and they never gave me effort, I probably wouldn't have learned those lessons. And that's a blessing if you're closed off to like, back to our point where I'm trying to bring it with like the athletics of like girls, terrible, like
distractions.
Yeah, bro. Like everyone brings something to the table, and I've learned great, like better communication skills of like how everyone responds. Bro, like I've learned I can't talk to my boys the way I talk to most females, not all,
Right.
but most. Like, and that teaches you and you can incorporate that with males as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And you'll see how far, like, cause guys, suck it up.
Yeah.
Suck it up. Bro, you're losing an arm, you have another one. You can't walk, you can crawl. That doesn't fly with everybody,
Not
bro.
everybody, no.
You won't get the most out of everybody by having that mentality, and I've had to learn that because I have that mentality.
I feel like being a great communicator is understanding how people listen. That's
100%.
It's what
And
what
reading
moves
them,
people.
and reading them. And like, I've heard there's a difference between listening, waiting your turn, and listening to respond
Oh,
to
of
what you are
course.
saying.
Yeah.
A lot of people have a thought in their mind.
Yeah.
I have no idea
Wait to say
what
it.
you just said for the last 30 seconds. But bro, you're like, da-da-da, and then it's like, yo, but my day was terrible today. Da-da-da. And you're like, bro, what? Like, I'm talking about Pizza Hut. You're talking about your day. Like,
Hey, damn, that's crazy, bro. But here, listen to my story.
yes,
Literally.
but how true is that?
Yeah,
Bro, there's
very
no
true.
connection there.
Very
You're not learning anything. You're just like,
You're not even present, bro. The biggest,
bro.
Another issue we can tap in on is like just being present.
Power of Now. Great
Play
book.
great book. Play where your feet are.
Yeah.
Where your feet are. And
Yeah.
that goes for life, business, sports. Like, just be where your feet are.
And that's where I
What do you
think a
need to
lot
tackle
of
today?
unhappiness comes from.
It's
Self-including.
extremely,
That's where I've learned where it's like, I normally feel the worst about my life or whatever you want to call it, where like,
Yeah.
get into like a little rut. Because, bro, if you think I don't get in little ruts of like little mental things where I'm like feeling
course.
sorry for myself or in like a
course.
negative mindset, you're crazy. It happens every day. But it's about how fast you can get
Get
out of it.
it.
And to that point of like when you start thinking of like the positive and you think about how all your blessings versus what you don't have, bro, you're out of it in a second.
Yeah.
You're out of it like that, where it's
Yeah.
like, bro, I'm living my dream. And like, if you get back to where you are, like think about how, like for me, I pray every morning, every night and all that of like, God, thank you
Yeah.
for letting me chase this dream
Yeah.
of like my health, of being able to throw every day and
Yeah.
lift every day. Like that's phenomenal. It's
Thank
always
you.
when I'm at least happy where I'm like, bro, I don't have,
This, I don't have that.
I'm not wearing a Yankees jersey in Yankee Stadium in front of 60,000 yet.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but like, why? Like every time, bro, like I told you, every time I
Bro,
fail,
gratitude
it's
is so huge.
gratitude's the best attitude.
It's so huge. It's like Tony Robbins has this saying. He says he has these things called beautiful states, suffering states, right? And he talks about how most people have the highway to suffering states and a dirt road to beautiful states. He said you got to learn how to flip that.
Yeah,
And the only way to flip that is by bringing gratitude into the equation.
100%.
It's literally what you said. It's you felt you had a loss of and a less of not having something
Yeah,
versus you having the approach of what else would I really be doing right now in my time?
100%.
And I'm living it the way I want to be living it.
But it's just getting back to the now.
Yeah.
Like you said, where it's like
Exactly.
now. Like what would you rather be doing right now? Nothing. I'm
Bro,
chilling, bro.
nothing.
This is awesome. Like hopefully we can help people.
Bro,
We're helping each other by having
that's-
this conversation,
we
and
talk
that's
about this
it.
all the time. We're like, yo,
100%.
like we could literally talk on this for 4 hours as long as it impacts one person who maybe heard it for only 15 seconds,
100%.
but it touched them in a way that like moved them to reevaluate a decision that they made or push them to go pursue something. That's it.
Bro, but we talked about that in high school.
Yeah.
When I was telling you where it was like, bro, sometimes I feel that a lot of people judge that I post.
Yeah.
And we would both agree on the same thing of like, one, get back to why do you post what you
Yeah.
post? If your intention is good, that's a check mark.
Yep.
Number two, if 600 people view your post a day, but it impacts one, we were always both like, that's why we do it. It's
Bro,
not for
yesterday-
599
yeah.
people to see me and be like,
Oh, they're just
again,
showing
back
off.
to my point. Nobody cares
No.
how hard I throw a baseball.
Yeah.
I am fully aware of that.
Yeah.
When you watch my story, you're not like, wow,
Wow.
bro, Grant curled 25 pounds today. That kid's awesome. No,
Bro.
you're like, he's in the gym. I better get in the gym.
Literally, bro, literally yesterday I posted, I just got off a flight and the first thing I did, I went to go work out.
Yeah.
I posted it.
Yeah.
Literally, I posted it. I put it on my stories.
I saw it.
24-hour flight.
I saw it.
I'm working out.
Love it.
But it wasn't for like, oh, look at me, I'm so cool.
Of course
I'm working
not.
out. It was like,
But I know that.
I'm not giving an excuse for showing up for myself. There's
Right.
no days off.
Never.
And that doesn't mean like we talked about, you need rest, you need all of this. No days off.
Rest is getting better.
You remember from Legacy Fit? No days off is like
Yeah.
not taking a day off on you, whether
Mhm.
that be rest, whether that be chilling, whether
Right.
that be working on your mental, whether that be meditating.
Right.
It's
That's getting better.
It's getting better. So if
100%.
me putting that up is not me showing, look at me, I'm so cool, I'm working out.
No.
I just got off a plane. It's, yo, like, I'm not taking a day off on me.
Right.
Maybe this inspires you to do the same thing.
And that's back to
That's
the
it.
point, though, of like people being in the correct mindset to absorb that.
Receive.
If you're in the wrong mindset, of course you're going to see that and be like, bro,
You're gonna view it that way.
V thinks he's cocky because he got off a plane ride and went and worked out.
Yeah.
If you're thinking like that, it's like, that's not it, bro.
It's
That's
just a
not it at
reflection of
all.
yourself, how
Yeah.
you take that. You can take it as like, shit, all right, let me get to the gym. That's like,
That's
what's up?
sick, bro.
Or it's like, oh, this guy is just trying to show off
Showing
or
off,
whatever.
yeah.
100%.
reflection of
And
yourself.
to that point of like no days off, that does not mean kill yourself to like, but I feel like I have to make that clear though,
No, it's
because
so
all
true.
these people say this, bro,
Yeah.
and I'm including Eric Thomas, Inky John, like all these
Yeah.
dudes where it's like everything, every day, all out,
Yeah.
go crazy. If you're not dying, you ain't working,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Like I was literally texting one of my friends the other day, and I was like, "Yeah, I just finished throwing. I'm gonna chill for the rest of the day, recover." And they were like, "Ooh, self-care today," or something like that, but like with great intentions, And I was like, and I texted them back, and I was like, "Bro, every day self-care." You know what I mean? Where it's like, if you feel like you're getting away from taking care of yourself, bro, that's scary.
Yeah.
Like you should want to take care of yourself every day. I feel like it shouldn't be like I'm gonna put 10 minutes aside every day for self-care.
Yeah. Oh.
No, in my opinion, no. You're doing everything throughout the day is
As
your
self-care.
self-care. But we're here for 80 years, 85
At
years
least
if
you're
we're
in tune.
lucky.
Yeah. At least if you're in tune.
But that's the thing though,
In
like
tune. You got to be in tune. Like
Yeah,
most people
but-
are not in tune to like, hey, this I'm gonna. Like,
but I'll give you the equation right here. If it makes you feel bad and you feel miserable doing it, that's not self-care.
Yeah. Stop.
You're not taking care of yourself. And again, there's the fine line of being selfish and self-care. If you shut the world out and you don't ever talk to anybody and you distance yourself from family, friends that love you,
Yep.
and you're saying, oh, that's self-care, but you're unhappy, that's not taking care of yourself at all. Like there's a very distinction of like, there's a difference between, and again, it's all about how you do it. For me, I'm someone that needs to be away from myself or from other people and recharge.
Yeah.
That is my intention. My intention is not, I want to be away from you because I dislike you.
Yeah.
And that's taking me years to realize how to communicate that properly. Of like, if your boys are going out and they're like, yo, bro, slide with us. I'm like, I'm going to stay home.
Chill.
Dang, bro, you don't mess with us. Like, he doesn't really like us like that. And that's real feeling some people feel, where it's like, he only hangs out with us at the field.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, bro, not at all. It's just, I'm exhausted. I want to lay on my bed. I want to chill. I want to read. I want to watch YouTube. It has nothing to do with you, bro. You're my boy. You all are my boys. Or
Yeah.
if a girl, it's like, you're my friend. Like, you're still my friend. Like, it's just, do I want to go out to eat for 3 hours? No, I'm exhausted. Can we take a rain check? Can we do it? Yeah.
This some other
Can we
time.
do it another time?
Yeah.
Where it's just like, where it's like, bro, you can't give everyone everything.
Yeah.
You'll be exhausted.
That's true.
You will be exhausted. I had a conversation with a friend the other day where it's like, do you think you can be adequately there for everyone you know? No.
No.
You can't, bro. You can't be best friends with.
Not
I'm
even
not gonna
if
say
you
you
set
can't.
out.
but-
Not even if you set out as that was like your only end all be all goal.
Bro,
Just to
think
be
about
there
how
for
hard it
everyone.
is
It's
to
impossible.
have one relationship, a very healthy
Yeah.
mutual relationship. Bro, it takes a crazy amount of work.
Yeah.
Like, if you're texting someone throughout the day, all day, especially guys like us, like, bro, we're busy. If I'm texting you, for me, that's effort.
Yeah.
To other people, that's no effort. They're like,
That's my fiance's biggest ick.
of
Is
take.
that I just it's just I'm terrible
Okay,
communicator.
all right, but are you though? Because the thing is, it's all about perspective.
Yeah.
For me, I had a conversation the other day about that, where it's like, my boys too. If we want to, like, if you have a conversation, if something's wrong, I'll call you tonight at 8
Yeah.
and let me give you my fullest,
Highest
highest
attention. Yes.
and it might be a 15-minute phone call versus a 9-hour back and forth hit or miss text
You have no
session
idea what we're doing.
where
Yeah.
tones aren't even like in the
You
equation.
can't even read the tone. Better if you're on FaceTime.
Yeah,
can
are
read
you
body language?
100%? And that's what I try and like. That's my version, bro. Like if we have a relationship, like anytime when I say relationship, I'm not referring to romantic. I'm talking about
Right.
like literal. Like
Yeah,
we have a
relationship.
relationships,
Yeah.
like where it's like, bro, I'm going through something, and then for me, my immediate reaction is it urgent? If it is, okay, now I have to drop some things because I'm making a priority for you. But if it's like, no, we could talk later. Great, I will call you tonight at 8 o'clock. And I'm gonna get everything done I need. I'll journal before, I'll read before, I'll watch whatever I want to watch. I'll get my self-care done, and then I'm all yours.
Yep.
And not only that, we're gonna get more out of it by doing that than me like hit or miss sending half-assed text backs
Yeah.
where it's like, yo, bro, I'm really down bad, and I'm texting you back, you're gonna be all right. That's not sufficient, bro.
Is that all?
And not only that makes you feel bad and it makes me feel bad because I'm like, I'm not giving this person my all. I can give more than that.
Yep.
And it's just like effort, time management, and prioritizing and learning how, like you said, how other people listen, how other people communicate. Your girl might be like, no, this is how we're going to communicate. And you might be like, fine, but you're not going to get a certain level of me. And if that's okay with you, then that's our trade-off.
Yeah.
Like if that's what you need, I'm going to give you what I can. And if she's like, well, this is what I need, I'm going to give you what I can. And that's going to be our relationship. And there's nothing wrong with that. Bro, nothing is like, no, it's true. It's hard, bro. Communication is hard.
Tough.
It's very hard, bro, because you have your way of seeing something. You have your way of seeing something. I have my way of seeing something. And like one of my best friends, we always get into it where we have different definition of words.
Yeah.
So it's like my definition of, for example, interested, like, and love.
Yeah.
Someone might put all those in together.
Yep.
I look at those as three completely different things. Interest is like, I'm interested. Like is like, okay, I know them. I like what's going on here.
Yeah.
Love is like, we're locked in.
We're locked in, yeah.
Other people's like, I'm interested, I love it, and I like it. It's you know what I mean? Like, it's everything together. It's all about definitions.
That's
and
true.
It's hard, bro.
Yeah.
It's hard. And that's something like younger kids I would and older people obviously is like, I feel like the more conscious you are of consistently working at it, you'll see the fruits of your labor like anything. Where like if you feel like I don't really have a great relationship with this person, but I want one, I guarantee you it almost always stems from communication rather than an actual like we really just don't get along.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that?
No,
I feel like that's
100%.
almost always where it's like we probably would get along, but if we worked on our communication, we both put more effort in, we would have a beautiful relationship.
Yeah, it would be way different.
It would be, and we would learn from each other tremendously. You know what I mean?
No, I feel that.
Communication is so freaking important, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's slept on.
It's like you can like text 4 different people and you can send them the same exact thing and they're all going to take it a different way.
100%.
Like I've had people where I understand what there's some people I know when they just put literally okay, I'm like, you're upset about something. I said something that you're there's something wrong. And there's other people that they put okay and it's just like, all right, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
It literally means bet.
Yeah.
It's okay.
And it's just the same exact thing, 2 different people. And it's so weird how that works.
Bro,
like
it's funny
it's so
it's
interesting.
funny you mention that because our general manager at the Marco's Pizza is literally she'll send the letter K, and that used to infuriate me before.
Right.
Like, yo, this person's upset. How can I fix this situation? But her K means
okay.
Done.
Perfect.
Handled.
Yeah. Boss.
Handled.
She's a boss. She's like done.
She's like, I got it.
Check mark.
I'm like, you know what I mean? It's so different than if like somebody else were to text me K. I'm like, all right, now we got to handle this. What's wrong?
Right.
What's wrong?
That's when that effort thing is it worth me putting my time in and sending, hey, what is wrong?
And then it goes into a priority thing.
Right.
How much you prioritize that relationship. Is it worth you getting into it?
Right.
You know what I mean?
100%. And that goes back to everything of like chasing your dreams and goals, of being able to learn how to when to give, when to take. And like Tim Grover, those are 2 books I highly recommend. I think anyone does. Relentless and Winning.
Great book.
Yeah. But again, that's one of those things we have to read with caution.
Yeah.
Because that's his perspective on one thing well past his career.
Yeah.
There's a difference between coming up and reading that and applying some of those things with some feel though. Because when I was in high school, I read those books and I took it to the max.
To the literal.
Because that's my personality. And it's like, for me, when Kobe was like, I worked 4 hours a day, I'm like, okay, great. He got there by doing that. I'm going to work 6.
Yeah.
In the same way, I hope that when I'm saying my story and what we're talking about, someone hears it and elevates. Bro, the goal should be evolution and getting better. Someone younger than me should be better than me at a younger age than me.
That's crazy. It's crazy you mentioned that. And I want to kind of segue this into my next question. It's like, what would you tell younger Grant right now? 9th grade Grant.
Yeah, I was going to say. Okay.
Starting high school, he's just starting to take baseball seriously. You right now, he's sitting.
Well, I wasn't. That was a little later than that. Okay, I was already locked in. All good. But I'm just saying. But like to give context, I was already fully like, fuck everybody.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was. I was like, bro. Boom.
Bet that kid. Talk to that kid. What would you tell him? Because I'm sure there's kids that are listening right now, that may be listening right now, and you know you're gonna post this on your story. There are gonna be people that
Yeah,
follow
for
you that
sure,
are
of
younger than
course.
you, that are older than you.
Yeah.
Some people that are inspired by you.
Right.
They're gonna want
Hopefully.
hopefully. So they're gonna want to hear your take on this. So
Yeah.
what would you tell?
Okay, do you want to do different aspects? So do you want to do purely sports or people? Because I think
Let's do both.
let's do both. Okay,
Yeah. So let's do
Sports?
sports first.
sports, go, keep go, do exactly what you're doing, bro.
All right.
Because if you love it and bro, that's your everything.
Yeah.
Honestly, do even more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if there was one little of like, what will people think? Have zero.
Got it.
Because that's honestly by that point, that's really where I was. I was
Yeah.
literally at like 99.5
Yeah.
of like, I don't care what you have to say, unless you were like, again,
Somebody really close.
yeah, use that with context of like, if you were someone that was in my corner, someone that I trusted,
Mm.
I fully listened to you.
Yep.
There's a difference. It's not literally F everybody and everybody's criticism. There's a huge difference. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying when my other 9th grade friends telling me, yo, come out with us, why do you always got to do that? Or da-da-da-da, keep going.
Yeah.
Don't, no.
Yeah. Keep
That
doing what
that's
you're
in
doing.
one ear, out the other.
Gotcha.
So for that, for sure. People, be easier on people.
Got it.
For sure. Not everyone's at where you're at. Not even close. These kids, as much as you think they were, they're not going home watching Inky Johnson, Eric Thomas,
Yeah.
reaching out to MLB players on like, dude, I was doing that in 8th grade. I'm DMing big leaguers asking them for advice. Some answer, some don't. That I don't ever hold a
course.
grudge, bro. If you have 30,000 followers,
Yeah.
Yeah.
come
I can
on.
only imagine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can only imagine. And not only that, you don't owe me that. So whatever. But like, it's just different. And like to go on a even way deeper level is your childhood has a lot to do with your maturity level at a certain age. And for me, I had to learn what other 12-year-olds were necessarily going through compared to what I was going through at 12 years old was completely different from at least the people I was around, most of them. And different doesn't mean better or worse. Different is just different. And I've always like, a thing that I would tell myself, a younger self, that I learned later, and I think this was from Danny, if I'm not mistaken, is pain is relative. If the worst pain you've ever been through is stubbing your toe, hey, that's still the worst pain you've ever felt. That feels like you're dying, bro. Like if that's the worst thing you've ever felt versus you taking Navy SEAL that's been shot 6 times and they kept going, bro, they're in 2 different boats. They can't relate to you, but like think about how that person would feel if you're sitting there, yo, my toe hurts, and he's like, that other dude might be like, I've had 6 tours. You know what I mean? It's just a different
Very
level.
true. It's
And
very true.
that's how I felt with sports though,
Yeah.
with the people I was around and the people like posting the quotes. And it's like, I felt like I was putting in, and I was putting in all this work to better myself. And then to me, not everyone, but a vast majority, way more that weren't, were to me felt like always trying to bring me down and always judging me. And that can weigh super heavy.
Yep.
And it did. And there was times where I was like, am I wrong? Like, am I on the wrong track? Like, am I really weird? Am I really like, is it that bad to be different? Not am I weird? Because I never really thought that.
Yeah,
But is
yeah.
it really that bad to be so different? Like,
Yeah.
that's a question I would think to myself. And I would say like another advice for maybe younger high school kids that might feel that way, or even adults, bro, like literally anyone,
Honestly.
is be very observant. Observe more than you speak.
Yeah.
That's what I was taught too. Like at a younger age, like when I was younger, I was never the first to talk ever in high school. Like I was like, if you knew me, I was extroverted. We were,
Yeah.
but like in class, I didn't speak, bro. Very rarely. Like I'm sitting there, I want to observe what everyone else is doing, and then I get a feel for who you are, bro. People will show you who they are.
Yeah.
You want to know who someone is?
Yeah.
And watch, bro. They'll show you. They will show you. And not only that, it like it makes people uncomfortable. Like everyone wants to know about the guy that's not saying anything. Like, yo, what's his deal? What does he do? Like,
No.
you know what I mean? And then they start telling you things that you didn't even ask.
Ever.
And then you're like, okay, so you're not wasting any energy and you're learning who people are. But to get to the point of what I'm saying is like, for me, that helped me a lot back to the point of like asking these teachers, and you can use feel. You can always kind of get an idea of like, that teacher probably wouldn't respond well to me asking versus like, for me, I was very blessed. I had great teachers like Brian Geffen, Jill Savatier, like people like that, where I was like, I felt extremely comfortable asking these questions, and they were constantly investing in me, where it was the opposite of those stories of like, they told me they couldn't. Because I want to give a balance to that. Because I feel like
Yeah, of
everyone
course.
always hears,
The teachers didn't believe in me.
yeah, I disagree. I had a phenomenal experience with most of my teachers of like,
Yeah.
they were, honestly, most of them were like, we see how much work you put in. Like,
Yeah.
we believe in you. Like, we actually do
Yeah,
think you can.
yeah.
Like, I hope you do.
Yeah.
And I think like asking those questions to those teachers that you might be scared to ask your peers because they're not really in a place yet probably to have that conversation with you, reach out.
Yeah.
I highly think that helps a lot. Of you might be like, I would tell you try it. I mean, it helped me a lot. Literally go to your teacher and be like, who's your most successful student you've ever had? And they'll always have an answer. Because like, again, like
they'll stick out.
They will always, they'll have someone that would be like, you know, I had this kid, I never really know where he went out, like what happened to him, but he was this. And then you can look up that person and find out
how they're doing.
Yeah, how they're doing. And like for me, like that helped a lot where I would ask them, where a teacher would be like, I had a professional athlete, he plays in the NBA, and I'd be like, who? So and so and so. And I would ask them, what were they like at my age? And if you didn't have them at my age, what were they like when they were younger? What were they like when they were older? And bro, you can learn so much from that by just hearing what the teacher says, because teachers are very observant. You're in their class every day. They're seeing what you're doing. They're paying attention.
You, your character,
how you interact.
100%.
And then now, especially if they feel like an inclination of like, yo, that person's kind of like caught my attention. Like, what do they got going on? Like, that kid seems different.
Notice him more.
They'll notice him. They're around kids all day. They're around young adults all day. So they, a very driven, different one will be like, the same way the Klaus Clown stands out, the very driven, the very like that will stand out. So I would highly recommend to talk to your teachers, bro. Like, open that line of conversation. Like, I used to stay after class always and talk to my teachers, for not all of them, of course, not all of them, but the ones that I felt comfortable enough with. And I felt like I learned so much. Like Mr. Geffen, for sure, he was my art teacher, like art and photography. Like, you know, at U School, they always have those classes. And he taught me lessons that I stay with today. And not only that, like Musso, did he give you the book at the end of the year where it was like a book of all like quotes and stuff?
He did.
Okay. He has no idea about this, but the impact he made on me, bro, I take that on every road trip, on every single road trip I go on when we have a away series. Like, so when we went to the regional, I take it in my bag. And
tell you a story about Musso. For me, there was 2 teachers I took the movie or the book The Secret to, and I gave it to them. I'm like, can you watch this for me? And 2 of them, like, they both watched it. One of them just told me, like, hey, this, you know, I love the book or whatever.
Right.
And that was
like,
it
a movie or a book?
The movie.
Gotcha.
I gave them the movie, and I gave them like the option if they wanted to read it as a book.
Okay.
But, so because it started as a book and then they made a movie out of it. So I gave all like you want the book or the movie? Like, I want. Like,
I think you would enjoy it.
Resonated with me really well.
Right.
I respect you as a teacher. I want you to have this experience as well.
Right.
Because you know, towards the end of the year.
Right.
One of them, we just had a conversation about it. It ended there. I don't know if they ever really watched it or they read the book or what happened there. But I remember Musso. I gave it to him, and literally like the next class, he played it for the class.
Bro, Musso's the man. Shout out Musso, man. Shout out Musso.
He played The Secret in front of class. I'm like, I felt a little embarrassed because he picked me out.
Right.
He showed me this. I want you guys all to see it. I thought it would resonate with a lot of you young adults, and you know, hopefully you guys can take this somewhere. So like, Musso was always like one of the most inspiring teachers.
Bro,
like
100%.
If you were a little bit different and you had
a vision
for something, he knew it, and
Bro.
he invested in it. Like, he'd tap in,
1000%.
he'd like help you out, he'd ask you how you doing.
Bro, not only that though,
how's
he was one of the few that did a very great job of holding you accountable, especially me.
Yeah.
Because like there was times after class where, bro, I'm not perfect. I was a kid. I'm 16, 17 years old. I was being an asshole.
Yeah.
Like I was like, you're talking too much. And he's like, Grant, can you please be quiet? And you know, you're with your boys. And again, I was a kid.
Yeah.
Would I do it now? Obviously not. But he'd pull me out after class and he'd be like, some of these people look up to you in here. And if you want to be a professional athlete, you need to hold yourself to a certain standard, because if you're an inspiration and a role model, you need to act accordingly. And I was like, whoa, yes, sir. And it changes you, because if you're not aware of it, you don't know.
Yeah.
And then when you get made aware of, it's like, it changes you completely. Because now, what do you do next class? When we're all talking, it's like, yo, let's be quiet. We can talk after class.
Yeah.
And now you're helping other people around you. And if I didn't have that influence of my teachers, or they didn't feel comfortable enough to talk to me because we didn't work on that relationship, and if I didn't feel comfortable enough to hear it and actually absorb it, you would never, your peers aren't going to tell you that, bro, at that age. Me and you, if we're in the same class at 16 years old, you're not going to tell me, bro, you're a role model. Don't do that.
Yeah, you're not.
You're not. You need those older influences and build that relation. And bro, I take that to today, bro. And Musso, like, he had so many good examples. Like, this dude was awesome, bro. Like, he's like, I haven't missed a day of school ever.
Yeah.
Besides, unless he was like deathly sick type thing, or like his daughters or his wife. And he made that, and that was like another lesson of his, where it was like, family, you go, no matter what, bro. On a drop of a dime, you go. And so back to the point of like high school with that. So like those are some, but like another thing is like, we talked about a little bit this earlier. I would remind myself, I'd be like, these people, including yourself, are still figuring themselves out. Be a little more empathetic. Don't expect everyone to be what you're on. Don't expect everyone to know what you know.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing I'm learning even now, bro.
Yeah.
Where it's like some of my biggest problems come from I expect myself in you because I wouldn't do that to you.
Yeah.
But that's the wrong place to come at things from because you're going to forever be disappointed. Every
time.
Single, bro, without fail. You text someone and you expect them to give you a thoughtful response because that's what you would do. Or if you call someone and say, hey.
I'm still learning to do that too.
100%. It's a forever because it's hard because we do that.
Yeah.
And we take pride in that. And I just read a book and it talked about that. And it was Atomic Habits. Phenomenal book. Also, that's a great one to read.
Mm-hmm.
And it talks about like, it's amazing how much you can transform in an area when you start taking pride in it.
Yeah.
And something in my own career, I guess you can say, was in high school, it was me show. I didn't care about teammates. Honestly, I didn't. I'm just being real. I didn't care about teammates. I loved my coach. But like at the end of the day, if it was like, lead me, follow me, or get out of my way. But like to the highest degree, bro. I had no patience, no nothing. And then when I started getting to college, I started taking more pride in like being a part of a team and building those relationships. And it's amazing how fast you can change from like an average teammate, or some people might say bad teammate or good teammate, to a phenomenal teammate. When you start taking pride in it of like, think about how different this is. Younger me, I walk in the locker room, yo, we do our thing, we practice 2 hours, all right. Fast forward to now, walk in the locker room, what's good, bro? How you been? How's you and your girl? How's your family? Yeah. How different is that?
Way different experience.
You feel seen, you feel heard, and it's like, bro, we're a team. Versus he's my teammate.
Yeah.
There's a difference between being a teammate and feeling like you're actually team.
A team, yeah.
There's a huge difference. Like that's something I would tell my younger self is like, start practicing that before. It's never too late, but like I would have much rather have gone into some college scenarios having a better foundation of being a better teammate and understanding that not everybody wants it like you want it. Everyone has different things going on in their life. And not only that, people are at different places in their career. And I do want to go into that really quick.
Go ahead.
Of in college, especially if you're going to be a college athlete, there's people on their way out. There's people brand new and there's people in the middle. Yeah. And you got to learn that. A lot of the older guys, at least experience I've had, some of them, always the fewer ones, will encourage you. Keep doing the first thing when I got to college, you drink? No, you're gonna. It was like the first week I was there and I was like, I promise you I'm not. But I was also a little different cat with that where I was like, I didn't care, bro. You're 24, I'm 18, I'm not drinking, bro. I don't care, not doing it. Like, you're gonna come out with it. No, I'm not. And I stood my ground, but not everyone's strong enough to do that, and I understand that. And it can be scary. It's not easy to do. Yeah. But I think stand your ground, and like you got to remember, people are at different places in their career. Someone that has failed and their dream didn't come true, they're more than likely gonna try and project that on you. They're gonna be like, "Bro, don't work that hard. It's too hard. It's not gonna work out." No, bro, it didn't work out for you. And I think that's a big thing. Even in high school, bro. High school seniors be like, bro, these kids thought I was crazy, bro. When I'm coming into high school, I'm like, yo, I want to commit next year. And like, in high school, it's a big thing, commit, the word commit, and all that, that whole thing. Like, oh, I'm verbally committed, I'm going. But at the time, it's the biggest thing ever.
It's the biggest thing you could do, yeah.
Yeah, you get your first offer. It's like, oh my God, but da-da-da. But yeah, but like for me, like if I listen to everyone, bro, are you kidding me? Could you? I wouldn't be nowhere.
No, yeah.
If I listened to every person that said, bro, you're not going to do that, or you're not going to go, because I've had a different road, bro. I wasn't Power 5 out of high school, because that's a whole nother caliber. Those are like the kids that are very, very talented or just extremely, extremely skilled. Yeah. But it's more so normally very, very talented. They throw low 90s at 16, 17, 18 years old, or they hit the ball 400 feet at 16, 17 years old. I was not that. And I was good, don't get me wrong, but like I was no phenom. I wasn't drafted out of high school. Yeah. I really didn't talk to a professional scout in high school. That's not like for like the highest level players, bro. They're talking to 20 scouts out of high school, and it's their biggest decision. Am I even going to college? Let alone what college am I going to go to? There's a big difference, and it's back to that thing of like, and you can tie that into everything of like a high school me. And I really didn't do this, but I say it in like for people that might, don't compare yourself, bro.
Yeah, fact.
Because them throwing 95 at 16, the grass isn't always greener. How many of those kids get hurt because they weren't even strong enough to sustain that velocity?
Not only that, like how many of those kids that you said were super talented, are they still playing? Like some of them are still playing ball. You know what I mean?
Small
Very
percentage.
amount.
Yeah, 100%.
Like those kids who were super talented, highly talented, for whatever reason, whether if they didn't have the work ethic or they just, quit on themselves or whatever it
or
may
just,
be.
bro, monetary.
Or just monetary.
Like family
Just couldn't
issues.
keep
You
going.
never
Yeah, they had
know.
to start working
Things
or
out of
something.
their control.
Yeah.
And that was a big thing for me. Like, we talked about this when I was
Yeah.
younger, too. Like, my thing was always, I don't need to be better than you now.
Yeah.
I need to be better than you when the chips are on the table.
Yep.
When it's like, do or die. You either, like, it's always about getting to that next door.
Yep.
You don't need, like, my dad always taught me, bro, you don't need to be the best. You just need to be in the door. And if you continuously get into every single door, you're eventually going to be in the door of the best.
Yeah.
Like, if you can continue to
Funny,
adjust.
my dad said something similar to me too.
Yeah, bro,
Continue.
and find a way, bro. Like, I always, like, 14 years old, I'm like, I don't need to be better than you now, bro. I don't care.
Yeah.
16 years old, I don't need to be better than you
I
now.
don't care.
18 years old, I'm like, okay, I need to start getting better.
Better.
but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Though? It's
yeah.
still like, bro, you don't need it. If you can, by all means.
Bro, I forgot what
Be a
quote it
phenom.
is. I forgot what quote it is. One of them is like, as long as you stay on the track, you're bound to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like, as long as
I
you-
agree.
As long as you stay on the track, somebody might be running faster than you. Somebody might have
You're still in the
lapped you
race.
already. But as long
Bro.
as you stay on the track, you'll get there.
But that's like my thing. Like, you know this on social media. And like, my biggest message is, it's 2 words. Keep going.
Keep going.
Bro, you're,
Which is literally keep on keeping
yeah,
on.
the
That's
same
our
part. Yeah,
podcast.
100%. But you
It's
know,
just-
like,
no, I
the
know.
keep going thing's been since I was 13 years
Forever.
old. Forever. Like, that was my whole thing of like,
Yeah.
bro, you fail, keep going.
Keep
Like,
going.
You feel bad, keep going. You feel great, keep going.
Keep going.
And it's
No.
it's about outlasting people, bro.
Yeah.
It's about putting your head down and being like, it doesn't even matter,
Yeah.
bro. It doesn't
No,
even matter.
There might be some baseball players that follow you that are gonna watch this that
All sports.
it might didn't or all sports that it didn't pan out for them.
Right.
And for them, it's the same message. Keep going. Just
Yeah.
because this one thing didn't turn out. Bro, The
1000%.
Rock talks about it all the time. He said, I
Who
wanted
did
to
you
be a
say? Sorry.
The Rock.
Oh, The Rock.
Yeah.
Okay.
He said, I wanted to be a football player. That was the only thing I wanted in
NFL,
my
everything.
life. And he didn't make it.
Yeah.
But look at where he's at now. He's all because he kept decided he wanted to keep going. And he never really went into it. I was watching one of his
With Kevin Hart.
no, not with Kevin Hart. The one he did with not I Am Athlete, but the other guys. It's the other
House
other-
of Athletes. Brandon Marshall's one.
but the other one.
I Am Athlete.
Remember Brandon
Pivot?
Marshall? Yeah, the pivot.
Sorry.
So he was on the
Pivot.
Pivot.
Yes, sir.
And he talked about how like he didn't even go into acting for acting or he wanted to be the biggest movie star or whatever. It just kind of happened. He
Yeah.
went in because he was like, I need to know how to make money. And I
Yeah.
want to be rich.
Yeah.
And I want to be really, really rich.
Right.
So he started with wrestling and then he slowly pivoted into acting. and
Right.
then acting jobs weren't coming in. People were like, you're too big, this, that, and the third.
Right.
All of a sudden, you look at him now, he's in hella blockbuster movies.
100%.
Now, you think you go ask him now, you're like, yo, do you want to have been an NFL player or would that have been a better trajectory? Who knows how his life would have panned out?
100%. Bro, I was having this
Go play
conversation with
for
my
a year.
grandparents
Exactly.
yesterday. And it's back to the talk of like building your foundation around your character rather than results.
Yeah.
Because you can never be rocked if you don't get the result. It's like, so what? That wasn't my goal.
Bro, it's so true.
My goal was to be my best Grant Siegel.
yeah.
Your goal is to be best Farad. Like,
yeah.
if that's your goal, you're not even thinking about none of that.
No.
You're really not. You're really
not.
when you really get to that
No,
point,
you're right.
you're not, bro.
No, you're right.
And I was having that conversation with them yesterday, and I was saying to them like, and this is like real pure confidence. When you want to talk about confidence versus cocky, this is my opinion. Because they always, grandparents, different generation. What happens if you don't make it?
Yeah.
Always. What's your plan B?
Yeah.
I'm like, plan B is to make plan A work.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And they
That's
hate
exactly
that.
it. Yeah.
And you got to take it how it is. It's
Yep.
coming from a complete. They weren't even allowed to have those dreams.
No, of course.
So it's a completely different thing. But I told him, I was like, I love baseball to death, but I think I would be successful in anything.
And anything.
Anything, bro. You
Bro,
tell me
if
to be a
apply the
professional
same-
painter?
Yeah.
Oh, let's ride. I'm going to try and be Picasso, dog. Let's
100%.
go.
No, 100%.
I don't need baseball.
No.
That's what people have to understand. They need that's a great one, I feel like, for athletes in high school and in general.
Yeah.
What you do is not who you are.
Yeah.
And unless you make it who you are, then that's your
I
decision.
stand by that, bro.
Bro,
I stand by that.
I don't need baseball. Bro, it's my life. And that's coming from someone, my whole life is cultivated around being a
Yeah.
better baseball player. I don't need baseball.
Yeah.
I love baseball. I love playing baseball. But when I'm done, I want to go out just like how Kobe did, in the same sense of when people are like, bro, like, you dropped 6 in your last game. He's like, yeah, but I was done.
I was done.
I didn't like going anymore,
Yeah.
bro. And what did he do? Oscar.
Boom. Out the gate.
Bro, that's character.
Yep.
You think he was just a basketball player? Clearly not.
No, and speaking on the Oscar aspect, I remember Kobe talking about when he was 22, 23, he had an injury that happened, and he was like,
Started
I need
that
to
thought
start
process.
thinking,
Yes.
what's next?
Yes, sir.
And then he got into he deep dove into storytelling. So he'd like cold call like Steven Spielberg, Oprah Winfrey. Like he'd cold call these people that were in the entertainment
Crazy name
industry.
drops, but
Because of who he was. He was
Of
a
course,
Laker.
of course.
He was a Laker.
But,
and
yeah.
he won championships with them. He had access to those people.
Right, but if you're not
But
open to
today-
learning
Today is way different. That access is available through YouTube. That access is available
To a certain extent.
To a certain extent. I mean, you don't have direct access, but
right.
you know what I mean? Like you could become a master of something just from the comfort of your own home and a laptop.
Right.
And
And that like he talks about all the time where like his biggest thing was curiosity.
Yeah.
That's like a big word he uses that
100%.
that I've studied with him is like he's like I forever stayed curious. And I was like, yeah,
Bro, it's
literally that, bro.
So
Tony Robbins
important.
had said one line that stuck with me forever, and I heard this, I want to say 9 years ago. He said, the best never stop training.
Never stop what?
Never stop training.
Yeah.
The best
Or
never
learning.
stop.
Yeah, they never
And
stop.
yeah, training's just another word for
The
learning.
learning, yeah.
Or growing, and you can use it. You just never stop being a student.
Ever.
And you think like when you're 45 and or maybe 50, let's say you played at 50 years old, right?
Right.
Baseball's in your rear
Hopefully
view.
not that long. but
Yeah, I know, but you know what I mean. Like
50, I'm gonna be hurting. I'm like, golly.
Let's say 50.
Nah, I
right?
got
And
you, I
look
got you.
back, and you're not gonna be like, oh man, like, what am I gonna do now? No, you're gonna be
No.
continuously growing, finding
No.
something else, moving
Yeah.
forward. So,
100%.
and that goes
bro.
for.
But think about
everybody,
it.
bro. Just keep going.
Like we're 100%. And to that point, like of being open to listening to that and people being open to talking about it. Like we're going back to the pivot.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have that thought process of detaching myself from my sport if it wasn't for dudes like that talking about that and
Yeah.
people coming on podcasts saying, bro, I went into a deep depression. I had a 13-year NFL career.
Yeah.
I had no idea who I was, what I wanted to do.
Hmm.
If those thoughts weren't sparked in my brain, like that's why I feel so blessed. And that's why we
Yeah.
wanted to do these conversations
Yeah.
of like being able to have people that are willing to have these conversations. Because like I said, there's going to be at least one person in this that listens to this or
Yep.
sees a clip and they're like, wow,
Yeah.
thank you, without saying thank you. And it's not about, no, we don't want to get thanked, bro. It has nothing to do with that.
Nah, at all.
It's all just energy. And
Yeah.
it's like, if I could say a sentence that helps you, phenomenal, bro.
Yeah.
Life's hard.
As it is.
That's what I'm saying. Life's
Yeah.
hard. Like, that's why I feel like if everyone just tried a little harder to be a little more, including myself, I'm saying for myself as well, be a little more conscious, to be a little more kind, a little more outgoing, a little
100%.
more empathetic, it'd be unbelievable, bro. Like that's it's going to be one of my new things of like a new habit that I'm trying to make is one compliment a day.
Yep.
And then I can only imagine where it goes from that.
Well, that's what we talked about before, right? It's like you talk negative to me, and then I meet him. It's
100%.
But
Butterfly
the same thing happens
effect.
when you're positive.
Yes.
Is if I go and I pour into you, you're
Yes.
gonna be able to pour into whoever you come across. And
100%.
whether that be family, friends, kids,
Anybody.
it'll be it'll be transformative for them as well, and continuing effect.
100%.
That's why positivity is needed so much today.
More
It's
than
because
ever,
it's,
dude.
It's
Yeah.
just negativity is so easy to access. It's there. I can literally open my phone right now and find some negative comment in relation to something, and then that can literally that can spiral your mood too.
Yeah.
You're not even involved.
100%.
It has nothing to do with you. It has not, you're just watching something completely random by itself, and you read something bad, and you're like, it triggers you.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's so important. The movies you watch, the music you listen to, the
Yes.
books
Go
you
into
read,
this, bro. Go into
everything.
this.
Like
We've
it's so
talked about that
important.
so
So
much,
much.
bro. Where like my biggest thing, I don't remember what book it came from, but I know it wasn't an original thought.
Nah.
It came from someone else where I was like, wow, that's phenomenal.
Profound.
Like
yeah,
I never thought about that. And then when I started implementing it, it was like, whoa, it changes your world. It's like for me, I'm not someone that's gonna delete social media.
yeah,
I find a lot of value in social media. So I'm not gonna do that. I don't need to be that guy, in my opinion, for me, where it's like I have no social media. I don't need to be on it. No, because there's a lot of phenomenal training aspects
yep,
and baseball aspects that I would
Connections.
not learn, bro. 100%. Like DMing, yo, you want to go throw?
yeah,
And now I got better off that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pros to it. People only talk about the mental health part of it.
Yeah.
Da da da. And we've had this conversation 100 times
a million times.
of how like cultivating your input
Yep.
or being very aware of your input. If all you're doing, younger guys, if all you're doing all day of scrolling bikini model, like this, or like whatever, or like
Yep.
drinking and smoking, that's all you're thinking about all day.
Mm.
And we've talked about this where it's like, be very mindful of who you let in your mental space. Because if you're gonna be on the app,
Yes.
you might as well cultivate it to the best of your ability to help it be an asset to you. Because at the end of the day, social media is a tool. It's not life.
Yeah.
It's a highlight reel for most people, or it's
Yep.
a way to show off. But at the end of it, it's a tool. You know what I mean? It's to help grow a business. It's to help build your own brand. It's to open opportunities, whatever. So it's like, we've talked about this where it's like, they have the tools for you to help you do that. Bro, we've been doing this since I was 15, 14, muting stories.
Yep.
Bro, that doesn't mean I don't like you. It's just maybe what you're posting, like, it's not to the highest degree of what I need to be seeing. And it's like, I still love you, bro. I still follow you. I see all your stuff because I am interested in your life still. But it's like, if every Friday night I go on Snapchat and there's 6 Snapchat stories of drinking and going crazy and stuff, your brain's in that mindset. Versus, imagine if you're on Snapchat and your boy's private story and it's a motivational quote. How much different are those two feelings from those two visuals? Those two visuals with the app are completely different. Bro, not even close.
As someone being on both sides of that, it's so true. Because like, I had a period. This was like last year now, but it's crazy. But I was just, I don't know. I was just going out a lot. I'm sure, and you follow me on Instagram. Yeah. I was going out a lot, bro. Whatever. And when you mentioned earlier in the pod about time management and like how, what they told you about how the partying and the girls and all that, they'll always be there.
Yes, sir.
But your time is moving quick. And I remember it was a couple months of that. And that, bro, there was a point I was like looking around and, you know, you see people of all ages, right? You see young, but then you see people who are regulars, who are older.
That's their spot.
Yeah. And it just, you know, it just clicks on you, you know?
And for the viewers, it's not coming from a place of judgment if that's
what you're doing. Because that's what I wanted to make really clear.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not judgment. It's just when you, like, there's got to be a reason for you to.
You outgrow it.
Yeah,
that's all it is. You outgrow it. That's literally. It's just.
But it's also numbing. Like, some people numb it because they're taking away from what they would rather be doing. Like, a lot of the people, if you ask them, bro, like, if you genuinely ask them, like, yo, what would you rather be doing right now? If their life was going the way they wanted it to go, if they made the decisions or they started executing on their dreams, they wouldn't spend the time there. It's like they're numbing that
unless
emotion.
there truly is their passion, though.
Yeah, like
there are people that really are just love that.
Yeah.
Like the same way we get our energy from going inside and taking my alone time. I know plenty of people, phenomenal human beings, driven human beings that love going out, bro. And it gives them life. I know what you're saying. I'm just I know. Yeah. But I'm just making that clear.
Yeah, 100%.
Back to that topic of you can have it all.
You can have it all.
And it's one of those things again where it gets such a negative connotation where it's like, but if you use it as a tool, it's not negative.
There's so many people that that make their money off of promoting, that make their money off of being in the clubs or being
100%
connect, because that you get a sense of connection too. Like, if you're in the music industry, if you're in this nightlife world or entertainment in a way, you have to go out, right? Mm-hmm. There's gonna be
you're making connections.
There's gonna be certain networking events you have to go in, and maybe at a club, and maybe around people drinking, and maybe it all goes into
what you're comfortable with, though. That's the thing. I was always taught this by my dad and stepmom and everything, and they always tell me, like, if you ever want to go to a party, that doesn't mean you have to do what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's another thing that I think a lot of people
very true
at a younger age can learn from, where it's like, bro, go have your fun. Like, if those are your friends, your girls, your guys, whatever, like, and you want to spend time with them, but that's the only time they spend time with, go.
Yep.
Just obviously, like, the whole thing is like, be safe and be smart. Yep. Like, as much as like as a dad sounds like, but it's true, bro. Like, just because everyone else is drinking doesn't mean you have to drink. Yep. Just be smart. You know what I mean? Like obviously don't drink and drive. Like that's a
given.
That's a given. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, younger guys, wear protection. Yeah. You know what? No, but like, seriously, bro, like, that's real talk though. Like, most people we know don't want, like,
don't be stupid.
Ideally they would not want a kid at 16, 17, 18 years old. You know what I mean? But have your fun. Like, if, for example, tying into you, if you never went out, would you still have that feeling of wanting to go out? Of course you would.
No.
But now that you went and you got that out, it's like, oh, I'm even more locked in. It's like, now I really know I'm not missing out on anything. I've outgrown it. I'm good. I'm so glad that I did that.
That I did it.
Because my work is going to be half-ass until I end up going there. And then once I go, then I get to that point that I could have got 6 months ago of just going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, especially like for me, like I told you, like younger high school, where it was like, you know what? Like, all these people talk so highly of these parties and da-da. let me go with my boys and check it out. I go for an hour and I'm like, okay, so that's what it is. Now I know.
No, I know.
I don't care. But if I never did that, I would forever be like that kid where it's like I never partied and then they went crazy. Like when they go to college and they just go nuts, their first time of freedom.
Yeah.
And they just
Never. I mean, not. Yeah, I'm not gonna use the example. I feel like they might watch the podcast. They'll feel bad about it, but
nah. But it's just an example.
It's just somebody. I mean, somebody I knew in high school, phenomenal athlete, went to school for the sport, and then just went off the rock.
Right.
Like, just completely drugs, drinking,
right.
partying. The goal that they had just wasn't there anymore, and then
right.
they just,
Interesting.
That's the thing. Like everyone's path is different. Like
very different.
Like that path that person went on it's gonna take them to somewhere even sweeter if they didn't do that.
How much do you believe in like destiny? Like everything's predestined.
I'm weird with that.
Yeah, I feel like we have a similar take on this. But continue.
I'm not a big like. It's already written. To a certain extent,
right?
I'm really not, because I'm like, if I don't go work out today, I'm writing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
where it's like it's already written, so you can take a week off if you're meant to make it to the big leagues. You are. I don't agree with that. I don't know
if I believe that either.
I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
I feel like there's
I think if you give it everything. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think if you give it everything authentically, like in the bottom of your heart, you are giving everything. Then I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Then if it happens or it doesn't happen, then it's like, okay, I use the term if it's like everything happens for a reason, and if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. That's more, and some people use that like it's already written as the same way.
Same way, yeah.
Just to me, I don't feel like.
Control.
No, I'm saying I don't feel like there's already something written out for me, no matter how I act.
Okay.
I don't agree with that. I don't believe in, because I got better today because I woke up, I went to the gym, I threw, and then I came back to the gym and worked out.
Yeah.
If I didn't do that, I wouldn't have got as much better.
Right.
Therefore, you're changing the script of your life.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
Right. But what if that was meant to be?
Me to wake up?
What if that was for you to wake up and like that was the way the motivation was to lead you into that?
But then you can look at it as just that's your purpose.
Yeah. I 100%. I'm playing devil's advocate.
I
relate to you 100%.
I know.
I say the same thing.
I've heard it.
If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Whatever happens for a reason. Everything I believe.
Yes, but the written thing just throws me a little bit.
If we don't sit down and actually do this podcast, they're not gonna hear what we have to say.
The thoughts never come out.
That's why I feel like there's multiple. Like
it's layered.
It's layered, right? Yeah. So like, there's definitely things that it's like the universe brought that for me, whether I take it or not. If I don't take it, there's a certain pathway I'm not going. But if I do take it, for example, we never, different schools, never knew each other from anything. We met through a mutual friend, through like social media.
Yeah.
Right.
And something brought us to this point. We are literally here now.
Or even crazier, like my senior year of college, when I redecided, I was like, yo, I'm going to pursue basketball again. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Literally the next day, I run into a guy who offers me his agent.
Right.
Which leads me to a tryout, which I land, but then COVID happens, and all of a sudden, like it falls apart. World gets shut down.
Yeah.
I was gonna go play in Mexico for like my first pro contract.
Right.
Out the window, just immediately off of COVID.
Right.
And like I think that's, in a way, if it was meant to be, like I made that decision. Something transpired in the universe, like we talked about literally at the beginning of the podcast. Right?
Yes.
If you really put your vision to something, the universe kind of conspires with you to bring that thing closer to you.
Yes.
And that goes into both, like it's meant to be in a way, like the opportunities are presented to you, but then I feel like we also take action necessary.
Yeah. It's like, you know the movie Adjustment Bureau? Have you guys seen it? No. Well, it's literally about that. They're like overlooking you, but there's different pathways you can take. They're all written. Yeah. It's just up to you to decide which door you're going to go through. Right. If you don't work out or you don't want to pursue, you're not motivated to go baseball, then it leads to a different avenue of who knows what. Yeah. If I decided to start taking meth every day, there's maybe an avenue where I'm on the streets and I'm like a drug addict or something. Right. Or if I pursue what I want. And I think there's just multiple writings. I think, and the universe is there to give you signs or nudges, but it's up to us to take those nudges. You know what I mean?
100%. I want to go into that where it's like we're going back to the question of like when people ask me like, how do you stay so motivated? How do you stay so inspired? Like for me in high school, especially like whenever you feel like you're kind of like questioning yourself, you need to hold on to every ounce of every little sign.
Yeah.
That's what I did so well, bro. Like, I took, and bro, if a grown adult walked up to me and said, yo, you played a good game, I'm like, yo, that dude thinks I'm nasty. Like, I am. But you have to take that, bro, where it's like, I played well enough that they noticed to come up to me and say that.
Mentioned it.
Whether someone in a more negative system would be like, bro, the dude went up to every one of you guys because he's being a nice dad.
Yeah.
Depends how you want to look at it.
You can look at it anyway. Yeah.
100%. Like, I've done that. And, bro, like, back to the universe thing where it's, like, so weird, but so, like, phenomenally, like, synergistic how it all comes together, bro. Like, talking about intentions. There's been many times I'm not wearing any logo, anything. Someone will come up to me in an airport. You play sports? Yes. What do you play? Baseball. Oh, I can tell I believe you're going to make it to the pros.
Yeah.
Bro, that's not an accident. I refuse to. That's God saying, here's a little extra.
That's God sending signs.
Yeah,
Bro,
here's a little extra
Bro,
fuel for you.
That.
And the weirdest thing is it always happens when you need it.
Yo, that's
how many
so
times have I shared stories with you of things like that?
Bro, multiple.
So many times where
this happened to me literally I want to say it was before I left to India. It was literally, I was opening a door and I was opening for an elderly lady and her man. And they're both like elderly of age and they needed assistance. And I did that because I grew up helping my grandparents, around my grandparents. So I knew like that I had empathy.
And you just do that.
And
if someone's in front of you, you open the door. You know what I mean?
Like, and so I opened the door and I held it. And, you know, like the lady just stopped for a second. She's like, God bless you. You're never going to have to worry about anything for as long as you live.
Yeah.
She said that, literally said that.
Right.
And I'm like, at that point,
you feel
it was a low mental point. Like like you said, we all have those moments where you got to snap out of them.
Yes.
It was just one of those moments there. And she said that and immediately.
You're like,
it was like God snapped me out of it. Like I didn't have to snap myself out of it.
100%.
God snapped me out of it.
100%.
It's crazy.
Bro, it happens so much. It's insane.
And it's like, it's literally God
and it's
talking
real.
to you. Yes,
bro, it's
that.
real.
I believe that.
Bro, because for me, like, when I was younger and it happened every once in a while, I'm like, maybe they're being nice.
Yeah.
But when it continues and it's like, the stars keep showing you, like I've seen this quote 1,000 times where it's like, God wouldn't put that, or anything. You don't have to use God.
Yeah, 100%.
If it's in your brain all the time and it's in your heart all the time, there's a reason it's in there. Like, for whatever reason, though, not that it's going to come to fruition, but it's going to lead you down a path of impact. Because ultimately, that's what you want, bro. Like, if you want to impact the world in a positive way, like my coach has always said to me, like, your life story, childhood, all that is going to be way more impactful than how you play on a baseball field. Younger me, I was like, what do you mean? Like, I want to be better. I'm trying to be better. He's like, you're not getting it, though. He's like, not no one, but most of the time, people are not going to look at my stats and be like, God, that's inspiring.
Yeah.
It'll push them. It'll be like, okay, like, I want to be way better than that kid, whatever. But if they sit down and watch this interview, there will be someone that watches this and they don't give at all that I play baseball. Not at all, but they'll just use the words that come out of my mouth 100%. And apply it to their life and they'll be better.
Or even the mindset, the way you approach life.
That's what I'm saying.
They'll be drawn by that.
Right, and that's the point of like the whole thing of like for you.
Yeah.
And The Rock, like we were talking about. If someone said you'll make it to the NFL for a year, you'll never be heard of ever again, you'll live a struggle life with money if that's what you really value, no one really hears you. Yeah. Or you never make the NFL, you become a multi super A-list actor.
Yep.
And you inspire literally millions.
And he just got paid for his new movie, the most an actor has ever been paid this year.
There you go.
It was like $50 million for the movie coming out this year. Literally the most an actor has ever made.
That's the thing, bro. People have to. I feel like you have to let go of.
I didn't know that one.
That's a Netflix one. I think it's like a Christmas movie. Literally like $50 million or something crazy like
Unbelievable.
that.
That's nuts.
But bro,
for
like
for one role, not even like a franchise, just a movie.
I believe it though, bro. Like. And I'm sure if you talk to him, it would be like, were you open to other opportunities? He'd be like, yes, of course, bro. Like, you have to be open to that. And I think, like, another thing is, like, everyone's definition of success is different.
Way different.
And you have to be okay with your definition of success, no matter what it looks like to other people.
Yeah. Because it has to feel good to you.
100%.
That's why, like, we talk about this all the time. Like, yo, like, if you want a normal life with, you know, just your house, your kids, your family, just want a decent living, you want to travel once or twice a year, that's like your life. That's completely normal. You don't have to, like, people always look at social media and they think they need to have the biggest house. They need to have the coolest job. They need to have, that's not everybody's goal or desire or need.
No.
Your
100%.
life has to feel good to you. You got to want to do whatever, like you said, whatever is the higher power placed it in your mind, your heart, your desire. You got to see it through.
Right.
And whatever it leads you to.
Like for me, like I pray and work towards just being at the most peace.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, for me, like with God, I'll be like, whatever that God's will.
Whatever that looks
God's will.
Yeah.
God willing, God's will, however you want to word it.
Yep.
I'm going to give everything I have to the thing that I love, but at the end of the day, I'm okay with however it turns out.
Yeah.
Because if I'm happy and at peace, that was the ultimate goal in the first place.
Yeah.
Because you can get everything you want and be very unhappy.
Very true.
And I don't know that, but I've, from experience and learning and listening, bro,
There's a lot of broke rich people out there, bro.
how many of these actors say, bro, it is not all that it is? Even professional athletes, it's like, bro, a lot comes with it. All of them.
They all say that.
None of them are like, bro, I love every aspect of it.
Every aspect of it.
No, bro. There's good days, there's bad days.
Yeah.
In life,
Yeah.
and everything, bro. Like, but that's back to our thing of like, keep going. And it's like, for me, I always try and look at it as, like I was saying earlier, you have 80 to 85 years if you're lucky.
You're lucky.
You know what I mean? Like just average.
Yeah.
Just average. You know what I mean? And 80 is probably above average.
Yeah,
It's probably really
way
like
above average. It's like 72.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's
Crazy.
probably
It's
literally like
75 for
60
women
to
and
70.
like 72 for men. I think
Yeah.
was the last average.
Right. So it's like high school. Most people, their high school was the best time of their life. And we've had this conversation multiple times. The best day of your life should be today and tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like every other day should be getting a little bit better.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like me. Like if I walked around to you, bro, when I was in high school, I was raw, bro.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I was so good. You'd be like, Grant, like,
Come on, bro.
you're 20. You're talking about when you were 14. Like, come on, there's a lot more life to live. But at the same time,
That's why I don't like when I hear people speak about like, yo, my schooling years were like the best years of my life.
right.
And I'm like, bro, like what?
My thing
What
is,
are you lacking right now that you feel like isn't?
right, but I feel
best
like there's
period of
nothing
life?
wrong with that. Is like, if like that was so much fun, but
Yeah.
I'm right now working on getting to a
100%.
better place in my life rather than
100%.
I'm done.
Yeah, I've given up.
I'm cool.
Yeah,
That was sick.
that was sick.
There's a big difference.
Very big.
Because you can look back in times of your life where like, wow,
No, of course.
like that was phenomenal.
No, of course. But that's the good way of looking at it.
Right.
Most people don't look back. They look back with
Stuck versus reminiscing.
They don't reminisce like, oh, that was a great time, or I can learn from that. I
Right,
can
that was
move
awesome.
forward. That was
Yeah,
awesome.
that's true.
They look back and they're like, that was amazing. I wish I could go back to I
Like
wish I
that
could
was
just
their
stay
peak.
there.
Yeah, that's a great point because when you said that, I thought of this. Like, when we talk about old times, it's because it was so great because we learned something from it.
Yeah.
Almost always like, bro, that was hilarious because think about the things I was doing back there to now. Or like, that was so funny because if I knew this now, I would have never done that.
Yeah.
It's not like that moment's still in time. And like,
Yeah.
I'm the exact same person as I was in that moment. And that's why I'm stuck there.
Yeah.
Like, bro, there's so many funny things in high school where it's like,
100%.
who knows, bro? Like texting a girl. Like, I
Yeah.
would never say that now, but back then you say that. Or like,
Whatever it is.
Yeah,
It's
literally
different for
whatever.
Everybody, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, I don't know. You just gotta go to the past for the good things, but just don't stay there.
right.
That's a big.
Right, right.
Always want to grow. Like you never like the goal is you don't want to be the same person you were like 5,
Yesterday.
10 years ago.
Yesterday.
Yeah, as close
And I
as
think
that.
if we're gonna talk on that topic, let's talk about like how we actively try and do that. Because I know a younger me would say, okay, you guys are saying all that, but how?
Yeah.
And I think for us, like we've talked on it, but like pick up a new book.
Yep.
Like try like literally go to Barnes and Noble and pick out one new book and just read it and make that your goal. Be like, I'm gonna read 1 page a day.
Yeah.
And if I learn something from the book, awesome. If I don't, I don't. Or a podcast.
We're not necessarily talking about like romance novels or those either. Like fictional
no,
novels.
but
We're talking,
anything.
like,
No, but anything though.
I-
Really,
I-
anything.
I understand anything, but like after a while, like if you really want to improve on a 1%.
Yeah, if you're
level
looking
every
for
single day,
legitimate self-help, self-improvement, like
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to the top.
yeah,
Correct.
or
I
even
agree.
just getting better. Like you know,
Yeah.
if you want to learn how to be a better
Top of
communicator,
myself.
like the five love languages. Great.
Yes.
That's not only just for men, women, or interrelationship. You know,
It's just
communication
life.
is communication.
Yeah.
It's if you receive love by receiving gifts,
Yeah.
and I'm doing it by words of affirmation.
Right.
I might feel like
You're doing nothing.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not impacting you.
I mean, that's a great point.
So-
Just to like use that, like if we're on that topic, like if you're talking about that, watch Jay Shetty and his wife.
Yeah.
They're phenomenal.
Of course.
Jay Shetty's phenomenal. He has a great book, Think Like a Monk.
course.
You know what I mean? Like, that's another way to get better. Joe Rogan, great podcast. Like, there's thousands, bro. There's so many good things. And not only that, just don't be afraid to reach out, too. Like, if you're curious, like, back to Kobe's curiosity and all that, bro.
100%.
Like, how many people do you reach out to on Instagram? A lot.
Bro, all the time.
Me too.
If somebody's doing something cool and I want to be a part of that or I want to learn something from it, I'm reaching out.
100%.
Sending a message.
Bro, I remember even when I was younger, when I would post like balance stuff and all that, you would reach out to me and be like, what are you working on?
Yeah.
But never in like a form of judgment, never like that. Literally like you, I think you had a ankle, maybe like a light ankle injury. And I used to do all those like lower body stabilization, single leg, trying to work on my delivery and stuff. And you're like, what is that working on? I'd be like, yo, it actually really strengthens your ankle. And you're like,
I need that.
boom.
Yeah.
And it's that fast, and it makes you that much better.
I honestly, I get inspired. How many questions have I asked you just in regards to movies and stuff? When you talk about your short film, how you made, where'd the concept come from? How do you put the storyline together? Like, I feel like we should be curious. And it goes back to Kobe.
Yes.
You got to be curious in anything that you want to do. Like, I'm hyper curious with people who are hyper passionate about what they do.
And hyper detailed.
And hyper detailed.
Because details
the way
are
you
everything.
Cinema and movie and like making short films or even putting this all together, like that's an art.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Approach
yeah.
being a baseball player, being your best self every single day on a baseball field, pitching, making sure you get every single
ounce of myself out of myself,
ounce of yourself out there. That's an art.
Yeah,
it's you can learn something from the way people approach,
and it's forever evolving too.
And it's always evolving,
especially in sports and stuff. Because like I literally reached out to my strength coach at West Virginia, and I asked her, and I was like, Coach, how do you know the difference between you're not doing enough to get peak results or you're doing too much and not getting peak results? Bro, that's the sauce right there.
What did she say?
So she gave me a great So she gave me a great response.
That's that question all the time.
She said, it's a great response, it's a funny response. It's ever changing. And you're like,
thanks.
Damn.
Yeah.
But it's true though.
True.
She's like, what you can do with your body when you were
true.
16 to what you can do with your body at 20 is going to be different. She's like, it's going to be completely different when you're 25, hopefully still playing in the big league, like all that. Way different than when you're 20.
Yeah.
Like even T talks to me about this all the time. He's like, bro, I can't wait till we get to the point where you come in for 45 minutes and you get better.
Yeah.
Where we've got it down so much that we know your body, where it's like this stretch, this exercise, shut it down. We do it 5 days a week, 45 minutes a day. And you're making large improvements at a way lower effort.
Yeah.
That's the goal. That's the goal, bro. And then like back to like the detail of work. And I want to say this to you because like you're big on the cinema stuff, where if this can help you or anyone watching, like it sparked my brain how interesting this was. When Kobe talked about when he was studying film when he first started, he would watch the full movie once, the full movie with no audio. Yeah. The full movie, just audio, and I hope I'm not botching this, but it's something along those lines where he would watch the movie 4 or 5 different times in different lights.
Yep.
And it's like that level of detail, that level of attention, and that level of effort. There's a reason the dude won 6 championships or 5, and he won an Oscar, bro. Like it takes that, like me and T, bro, like it's funny, like to most people they think it's funny, but we're working on finger mobility.
Yeah.
Like how far I can bend my finger back, literally like this, to try and get more behind the ball, be able to manipulate the ball better. More toe mobility so I can use the ground better and use my force better, bro. If I'm using 75% of my foot, why not let's get to 100? Let's really maximize this thing. Bro, people aren't even thinking about that. I'm thinking about my toe strength. And other people are like, should I go to the gym today?
Should I lift a little more?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's all about just like, it's an evolution. I wasn't thinking about that when I was 14.
No, true.
When I was 14, I was thinking about, how do I lift? Well, I wasn't even lifting at 14. So, but regardless,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. 100% of like evolving to that level of detail. And obviously the faster you can get there, the better you're going to be.
Bro, I remember speaking on just Kobe. There was a video I saw of him talking about how he used to put like people who were making minimum in the league and then people who were making maximum. Like he put them against each other. And then eventually like that became like a mindset thing to throw them off their game. Just about how much money they were making and how
What do
much,
you mean? In what way putting them against each other?
He would say certain things, or he would play the player, if it was a max player or a minimum player, very differently defensively. And he'd aggravate the person making minimum amount of money. So then they'd throw off the team chemistry because they'd like get flustered, get frustrated.
Meaning like he would be like,
it was
why is Kobe guarding me so hard? Like, bro, like I'm not even like that.
It was psychological. And he would throw like
everything Kobe did was psychological. Bro, you have to though. Different. But that's being in tune. And not only that, like the thing that helped me a lot when I was younger is don't try and be these dudes.
Yeah.
And not only that, another thing that a lot of people don't talk about is when these like podcasts and these documentaries come out, it's at the end of their career.
Yeah.
That's what people don't understand. It's easy to say I was great after you've been great. There's a big, big difference. When he was 18, Kobe's a different cat. I'm sure he definitely believed in himself.
Yeah.
But it's not the same, bro.
No.
Like he even says it
The
himself,
way
bro. He's
Mamba
like,
mentality evolved over his career. Would have loved to have heard him on a podcast when he got in the league.
Correct.
When he was
in high school,
7 years in the league.
Correct.
When he was at the end of his, years in the league.
100%.
A completely different person, bro.
100%.
Which is what I like about our podcast and bringing you on now.
That's why we wanted to do it, though.
Interesting to hear what you say maybe 5 years from now.
But not only that, like I feel like for me, like I know I would love to hear
what you said
a lot of these
ago.
MLB players talking when they were in the
100%.
process of going to get where they wanted to get versus they're on a $30 million contract, and it's easy to be like, yeah, work hard, kids.
Yeah.
It's different when I feel like for me, I hope I help people where I'm in a situation where I'm actively chasing that, and I can sit here and tell you, like, of course there's that fear of like, what if it doesn't work out? That's human nature. But you know what? So what? Keep going. The excitement of making it outweighs my fear. Like I'm at a point now where I don't think about that.
Yeah.
I really, I mean, of course it comes and goes.
Of course.
But like compared to when you're little, like, can I really do that? Versus when you're older, you're like, I can do it. Just go keep do going. It. Yeah, keep do it type of thing. But I think that's cool because you're hearing it from me at now where I'm in the process where it's like, I can actually relate to you.
Yeah.
I'm not 25, 26 in the big leagues where that's easy to say. Because I've been there too, where I'm watching these guys where it's like, that is easy to say though. You're on a $40 million contract. That's very easy to say.
Give me the sauce. Give me the details.
Right. That's very easy to say. Give your all when you're on a $40 million contract. This is coming from me where it's, I'm not at all on a $40 million contract, but I'm showing up every day trying to make the most out of every single resource that I do have.
How you're approaching it.
Right. Which is a big difference.
Very important.
Very, very big difference because like we keep talking about, there's going to be a kid that's 13, 14, 15, or a 25, 26-year-old that's going to listen to this and be like, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And that's what we hope. We just hope, I just hope to always, when I say something, I always want to help. Obviously, I hope that I help people. But if I can just spark a thought that you can even, you don't need my help, but it sparks a thought for you to self-help yourself, phenomenal. I don't want credit. Because none of my ideas are original, bro. Like this comes from me learning from other people,
other mentors.
100%. I'm not someone that sits around and be like, I thought of the healthy eating on my own. I thought, bro, are you kidding me? You know what I mean? No way, bro. I wouldn't have my work ethic if it wasn't for Kobe, Mayweather. Like, dude, I loved Mayweather. Like, I got the whole idea of taking a little bit from everything from Mayweather because he talks about in his documentaries of going home at home when he was younger, watching. He said it was sometimes I wanted to be a killer like Mike Tyson. Sometimes I wanted to fight like Hagler. Sometimes I wanted to fight like this. And like that's where I got that idea of like, oh wow, he took what he was really good at, and then he took what other people were really good at and put it into one, and then went 50-0.
Yeah.
And it's like that's not an original thought, bro. Like I'm not sitting here saying Grant Siegel thought of that and he did. No way, bro. Just like I hope like I can just be a little part of someone's journey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And help them. Awesome. Continue to keep going and because bro, like we said, life is too short. If you're not doing what you love, it's like why? You know what I mean? Like I feel like you gotta go for it. Yeah. Because it goes back to that thing. Like for me personally, it's like what will you think of yourself more importantly if you don't give your all and you still fail? To me, that's way scarier because then it's like, what if I gave my all? I might have been able to do it.
Right.
That to me is so much scarier, bro. That's terrifying.
Facts.
That's like actually terrifying.
These YouTubers, Raka, they just made a film, their first film ever. It got distributed through A24, which is a great film studio. It's called Talk to Me. I don't know if you heard of it. It's like this horror film.
Horror film that just came out. Yeah,
that's theirs. They started as YouTubers, bunch of videos. They just put their passion through filmmaking onto their YouTube channel. They became big YouTubers. And he gave a speech before they knew that the movie was going to get picked up. It was completely independent. And he was saying, like, you know, through the doubts and stuff, people were asking him, like, how do you know when you're ready to do this, you know? And he said that you just don't. You have to just... His biggest fear was looking back with regret of not trying. 100%. Just like what you were saying. So he was like, you just got to go. You're never going to be ready. You just got to go.
You got to go.
Just like run towards it. Don't look back. Don't think about it. Just go. That's
the thing. No one's going to walk up to you and be like, Grant, you're going to be a big leaguer, but I know it for a fact. No one knows. You're never going to get that confirmation of like, it's safe to do it.
Yeah.
You'll never ever get that confirmation of like, yep.
I think that's a great point, though. You have to kind of create that safety for yourself.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. You got to kind of be like, yo.
But
like,
that's what, back to my point of creating your self-evidence of like, I am on the right track. I am good enough. And if I'm not good enough yet, I'm going to get good enough because I'm willing to put in the work to get better.
Yep.
If you're doing your part, there's nothing to worry about. It's just,
right. And if you love what you do.
Exactly.
If you love it, it doesn't feel weird. It just like, back to what you keep saying, what we keep saying. What else would I rather do? Bro, there's nothing I'd rather do than wake up, go to the gym, work on my mind, body, go throw. Bro, I love throwing. Yeah. My hardest problem is my brake system, bro. You've known that. And Tim Grovers talks about that in his book. He was like, bro, the greats, the motors, like that's a given. All of them need to learn how to taper down. And he says in his book, he was like, bro, Michael Jordan worked much smarter than Kobe. Kobe worked much harder than MJ. Yeah. But look how many more injuries Kobe had. Just being real, like I'm a huge and look, listen, injuries happen, whatever. That a lot of that's genetics, opportunity, all that. But a lot of people, like even Tim Grover said, looking back, like, what if could you imagine Kobe Bryant every night on 8 hours of sleep? The guy would drop 80 points every night.
It's interesting, yeah.
Are you kidding? Bro, he would jump through the gym, he would score 80 points a night, and it would be over with. Yeah. He was like, MJ would come in, he was so confident how good he knew he was. He would come in 20, 30 minutes or whatever. Don't use that as an actual timeline. Yeah. But do what he needs to do, get his shots up. Kobe, no. Kobe's going in there 3,000 shots a day, biking in the desert in 150 degree heat. Yeah. But it worked for him clearly. But it's always like, what can I do to get even better though? Yeah. Like for me, like at West Virginia, they do a great job of making sleep very important. They tell us like all the science, like especially in baseball, you sleep less than, I think it's like 6 hours, the injury rate goes up by 25%.
Crazy.
Very crazy. So it's like, you're telling me if I just sleep more, I can get better? Done deal, bro. Yeah. That's sleep easy. I'll just go to bed earlier. But that's a process of evolution of like being uncomfortable. When I first heard it, I was like, you're wrong. You're trying to make me worse. Not at West Virginia, but when people would tell me, slow down. Everyone says, slow down, slow down. You do need to have a brake system. Yeah. You do. There is value in that. And if you want to take that as balance, take that as balance. Right. If that's your balance system, take that as balance. But bro, if it's coming from Tim Grover, who trained Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, literally every basketball superstar you know, he's had his hands on. And he's a whole chapter of his book, of a 150-page book or whatever it was, so it's 40 pages, 30 pages, is on how to slow down, know when to break, know when to do that. I would highly recommend that has value in it. Yeah. Because, bro, like, I had a conversation with one of my teammates the other day where he's like, Kobe worked so hard. I said, yes, but you have to take it with a certain perspective that shooting a basketball and throwing a baseball is two different things. Yep. If I threw for 3 hours a day, I would last a week, if that, before getting hurt. It's different sports. Yeah. It's completely different sports. And that's back to the point of take the good from other people that did. Take the mentality, take the intent, take the purpose that Kobe had, and put that into you. And not Kobe, just anyone. Like, definitely Kobe, but like anyone. It's not a Kobe podcast, but anyone, Dwayne Wade, The Rock, whoever you want to use it, and use the intention, the purpose, the attention to detail, all that, and put that into your work ethic. And then what works for you for the 20 minutes or 30 minutes. Kobe, different cat. He's up 4 training sessions a day, 11 months a year, and that's his thing. That's him. That's what worked for him. But if you do that in a different sport, there's a lot of different, and that's with anything, like your business. If you ran yourself to the ground, and this is just an example, and it's my opinion because it's back to conversating and all that. Right. If you're running a business and you're going on 3 hours of sleep and you're cranky, now you piss your employees off. Yep. Now the engine isn't moving as smoothly. Yeah, exactly. Because now there's pushback. It's like, yo, Viraj is an asshole. Yeah, I don't want to work for him. Yeah. And then you think you're doing great though, because you're like, bro, I'm working as hard as I can. You should want it as bad as me. Yeah. It's not how that works, bro.
Or just your decision making.
It's honestly
100% that clarity.
No.
Business and sports, it's funny because as similar as they are, they're also very different.
Very, very different.
It's more collaborative.
You're saying like sports or business?
Sports and business, both. Like I'm saying they're both very different. Like
yeah, but you're saying one's more collaborative than the other? Or no, they're both very, very collaborative.
Very, very collaborative.
Yes, I agree.
But in turn of like, when it comes to competing and stuff like that, or at least team dynamics, it changes. If that makes sense.
See, I wouldn't know. Yeah, I wouldn't even know. No, yeah. But I hear you though.
But what I'm trying to say is like the way you can get on Well, here's the point that I'm trying to make is in sports, when you have a teammate, it goes back to what we were talking about, communication. You got to be able to communicate with that person, understand how they listen. Because business is the same way.
Yeah.
It's got to be like more often than not, it's constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Unless
especially
you have
if you're the boss.
Unless you have like really good rapport with an employee, you can't really get on their case like that.
Right. Not only that, for you have to be scared with lawsuits too.
Exactly. So it's very like the dynamic is very interesting, like how different they are, but how similar at the same time they are.
Yes.
100%.
Well, me and my boys talk about that, like when they start getting out of baseball.
Yeah.
And they're like, bro, it's very similar. I was like, 100%. I agree.
Yeah.
Like it's the same chase.
No, but that's why I feel like sports and athletics are so important growing up.
Yeah.
And to your point, when you're like with a kid,
anything team.
It helps. Yeah.
Anything
it helps
team.
Discipline. At least if you're really committed to it, like how to be, how to set a routine. I'm gonna do this, and get it done.
Right.
Because a lot of times, like everybody says they want to be an entrepreneur, but what comes is all of a sudden you don't have a set routine that school kind of provides you, or an employee kind of
or a practice schedule,
or a practice schedule kind of provides you. So when you're an entrepreneur, you're your own boss, but at the
good
same
luck.
time you have to like.
But you create your own routine.
I have to create it.
Right.
A lot of people don't know that when that happens, so they either
super lost.
Have to get up. I don't have to get up at 9. I don't have to get up to show up at a 9 to 5. So I'm waking up at like 10.
Yeah.
I'm waking up at 11.
Right.
But you can't do that.
Right.
In some situations. Sometimes if you're in the nightlife or whatever, it's very different.
Yeah.
Or,
but it's time management, bro.
Time management.
Like
exactly.
I learned that even from like Patrick Bet-David.
Yeah.
That's another
PBD
great.
Is a GOAT.
Okay. Exactly. That's another great person to listen to. Where he talks about time management of like, it's way different now with his kids and family and stuff. And he's like, bro, find the time.
Yep.
And it was the same thing in Atomic Habits where they talked about that, where it's like, if you have a habit of you want to read every night, put the book by your
bed.
By your bed. I guarantee you'll be much more enticed to do it versus if you have to get up to go get it. You're probably not going to read.
Bro,
I mean, you might if you're very motivated. You probably will. But how long will that last?
Yeah.
That night you're exhausted. I trained all day. Do I really want to get up to go get that book? Versus the book's right there and you go, I'm going to get a paragraph in real quick. Or a page, or whatever.
It's crazy you mention that, bro. Like, because Tony Robbins literally talks about it. So the reason most people's resolutions don't come true is because they don't compartmentalize things into smaller chunks. They make them bigger chunks. So they'll be like, I have to go work out. Oh, I got to get in my car. I got to get my clothes. I got to take a shower after. I got to go to the gym. I got to lift this weight. I'm not really feeling that well. It's like 8 different steps.
Yes.
Instead of like, what do we think when we have to go to the gym? I'm just going to the gym, coming back.
Get up.
Go do it. That's it.
It's not even a thought. It's just what time.
Exactly. So he was like, you gotta like, and to your point, book. If it's closer to your desk, you're more inclined to just grab it. Let me read it.
100%.
I gotta get up out of my bed. I'm tired. I gotta walk to my drawer. Or I gotta open the drawer. I gotta look for it in the list.
Yeah.
I gotta grab the book. I gotta find the page where I was at. Like it becomes like 4 or 5 steps.
100%.
Or you can chunk it down to simplifying it and not make it as complicated, the more inclined you are to actually do it.
100%. The Atomic Habits book talks about, and that's the same thing that Tony Robbins talking about, where it's like chunking it.
Yeah.
He talks about, and this is a great thing to talk about with anybody, is like what we've been talking about the whole time is cultivating the environment for the habits that you want to flourish. You want to get skinnier? No cake in the house, no ice cream in the house, no soda. All of a sudden, you're like, oh my God, bro, I don't even drink soda anymore. It's like, I didn't even really like it. It's just that it was always around. It was always around. Same thing with people. Yo, I'm miserable around these people. If I don't do a friend group, oh my God, I'm a different person.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was this positive. I didn't know I loved doing the beach and whatever. And it talks about that with like literally just cultivating your environment. And it's insane. Bro, it is insane. You put your charger on the phone in the other room, I guarantee your screen time goes down by 4 hours a day.
Nice.
It's so simple, but it's so like true.
A lot of
so
people
effective.
don't think to do it though.
Yeah.
And something that really struck a chord with me where I was like, wow, that's super interesting. We all consider ourselves very disciplined, determined people, right? And he was like, if you go in a different environment, you're on the same playing field as everyone else. If I offered you a drink every single day and you were around drinks all day, eventually I'll probably be able to get you to drink.
Yeah.
Eventually. I'm not saying you'll be a drunk.
Yeah.
But eventually you'll take that sip.
You'll take a sip.
Versus if you're on your own, it wouldn't even be a thought to you.
No.
You see how different? And I was like, wow, bro. Wow. I was like, that's so true. I was like, that's why it's so easy for me to speak how I speak, because I don't even go out.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't ever want to come off as judging, because if you're still in a place
that's
where
that's their life.
right, if you're still in a place where like if your parents do that, and I understand that it's tough, but now hopefully I can make it a little more like where it's a conscious thing where it's like, if you can consciously avoid that, not your parents, I'm saying, or anything, but just the bad habit, you'll be way less inclined to indulge in that habit.
True.
Even if it's not even your habit.
True.
Think about it. People you hang out with that are like, oh, bro, it's raining. And then now you guys start talking about the rain.
Yeah.
And then it turns into like negative conversation versus like.
It's so interesting you mentioned that, though. It's very important the words we use, too.
Oh,
like,
bro.
You know,
I'm really tuning into that recently.
like,
I'm really getting on that wave,
and you'll hear it from people. We talk about this all the time. Oh, I'm tired, or I'm exhausted.
You
or
put me
like
onto that with the young thing.
Yeah.
You always said, don't ever say you feel old.
You're old.
You
Bro,
put me onto that
100%.
years ago.
Bro,
because like I was even joking around. When I would joke around, I'd be like, oh, bro, I feel old today.
Old.
You're like, bro, don't talk like that.
Don't
And I was
that.
like, yo, you're right. And now I say I'm getting too young for this.
Yeah.
I say that in the gym. You can ask Kelsey, you can ask Don. I'm like, getting too young for this. I just keep going.
It's true, bro. There's
100%.
I feel like me. Okay, I'm 27. I look at some other people who are 27. They look 37.
Right.
Or they look
drained,
47.
bro. Drained. Like
Life has gotten a hold of them.
Yeah.
Like I genuinely believe it's because I don't allow the word old to enter my mind brain.
Bro, you've been like that for years since I met you.
Because-
Literally since I met you.
Because bro, like imagine if I feel old at 27, imagine how I'm gonna feel at 47.
Nah, bro.
Or
You've been
57,
on this. You've
or
been on this.
67.
You put me onto
Bro,
that.
I can't waste years of my life feeling old when
No.
I'm young.
100%.
I can't.
But you're the type of guy, you're going to be 80, you're going to be running.
100%. I 100% believe that, bro.
No, I know you will.
like-
You're going to be like, I'm young, I'm free. You're going to shirt off. Go
No,
hey.
but in all reality though,
No, I'm being serious.
I
I'm
feel
not
like,
joking.
I feel like a kid still. I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah.
I still operate from that, which goes into and bring Kobe back in it. But it's like
Bro, you got to.
curiosity, bro.
Yeah.
Kids are curious.
And
Yo,
they're stubborn.
Right, it's stubborn.
You fall, what happens?
You get right
back up. It's not even a
Bro,
thought.
you never look at your kid and you're like, yo, like you've tried walking 12 times. I think it's just not working out, bro.
100%.
Your kid's gonna walk.
Yeah.
Your kid's
And if
gonna
your
walk.
kid's hungry, they're going to cry
You're
until
gonna-
you feed them.
Exactly.
And I feel like if we can take, like, obviously not as literal, but
Not
kind of
everything,
as
yes.
literal with your dreams of like, I'm not taking no for an answer,
No.
bro. You don't think I'm good enough? Fine. Yo, you think I am? Nope.
Bro,
Do you?
I told
Eventually, someone's got
I
to
tell
give.
Justin all the time, and it's a little different than athletics because in cinema you can go until you're 99 years old.
Yeah.
100%.
Or 100.
100%.
You can go forever. So it's like I'm
And
like,
you only
bro,
age like wine,
as long
bro.
as long as you stay on the track, you'll eventually get there, bro. You just got to keep, every single like fail better, and it's success. It's like baseball, bro. You hit like a batting of what, like 0.3 something is really, really good, right?
Yeah, 300.
300.
Which would, if you're hitting 300 in the big leagues, you're, especially today's game,
Bro.
that's failing 7 out of 10 times to
Isn't
put that into
basically saying-
context.
exact- I
No,
was
it
just
is.
gonna
That's
say that.
exactly what it
That's
is.
exactly what it is. You're failing 7 out of 10 times.
Right.
That's almost like in life, bro. You have to be right one time. You
Yes.
only got to be right one time.
And I also heard this, and I thought this was phenomenal. This is from Stro, and he was talking about this. He was like, most people need 99% belief to do something.
Yeah.
He said, I need 1. He said, I need 1% of belief.
That's fire.
He's like, if you give me 1 ounce of belief, I'm
Yeah.
doing it wholeheartedly, full throttle.
Yeah.
He's like, that's all I need. He's like, don't mess around and give me a little.
believe
You
that.
tell me I'm gonna be a Cy Young winner or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't give me that because I'm gonna go. You know what I mean? Where most
So
people
I get
need
it.
like, they need so much confirmation before they even put their toe in the water.
Yeah.
Whereas like, jump.
Jump.
Have that confidence where it's like,
yeah.
I'm a swim.
Yeah.
I'm a swimmer, dog. I'm all right. I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna find a way.
Bro, it's so interesting. The people we bring on the podcast, the conversations we have, like there's so many things that stem into success, right? It's you gotta have that self-awareness. You gotta have the faith.
Yes.
You gotta, and it sounds super complicated, but at the end of the day, bro, it's like very simple. It's literally in your head, the Nike slogan, just do it. No matter
Yeah.
what it is, whether it's like where
to
you
the
gotta-
best of your ability.
to the best of your ability. Whether you have to pretend to be as confident to make it work, just do it. Just like take that first step. Take the, make the first video.
Right.
Go to the gym for the first time. Like just spend 5 minutes on a treadmill. Whatever it is, just do it.
100%.
Go for it.
And I think back to like the power of the words. Like that's funny you said that because me and Talon had a conversation about that the other day where I was like, bro, I'm starting to realize as I'm getting older, like how I always knew,
Yeah.
but like it's different when you really start seeing like when you voice something
Yep.
and then it manifests and you're like, shit.
Yeah.
Like I was joking.
Yeah.
It was like I was joking.
Yeah.
But the universe doesn't, in my opinion, doesn't play that.
Yeah.
What you say is if you're always like, it's gonna end bad.
Yeah.
Even as a joke, it's like, oh, that person's gonna do this.
Yeah.
Watch.
Bro, I have a very real time scenario of exactly what you're saying. My fiance literally held me back in India an extra day. My passport didn't make it to the airport when I was supposed to leave. She literally had me for an extra day there, and literally on the way to the airport, she was like, "What can like stay or like stay a little extra or whatever the case is."
Right.
And literally, it happened, and she manifested it. It's literally what you're talking about. It's like what the words we say, the things we put energy to, we bring about.
100%.
And it's very powerful, bro. If you can move forward with that belief that it'll one day show up, and you can live happily knowing that you're doing the process you need to do on the way there, that's life.
100%.
You're enjoying the process to the destination. What more could you possibly want? You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you're doing what you love.
If you're doing what you love.
Now, of course, like for me, for example, I always like try and preface this that it's easy for me in my position to say that because I'm not paying bills.
Exactly.
So that is another.
That's very true. But I always say this too, is like you cannot complain about the fact that you have to go work or go do something if the remaining hours of your day are not spent in pursuit of what you're pursuing.
Fair.
So let's say like somebody has to go work a 9 to 5. That's like something they have to do.
Right.
To
put
pursue,
food on the table.
To put food on the table. Or even to like function in life, because money is like
it's necessary, bro. Like when people say money doesn't matter, it's like that's not true.
No, it's BS. But you cannot complain about you're not where you're at if the remaining hours are spent on Netflix, spent scrolling Instagram, spent going out, spent in things that aren't adding to what you want out of life. I'm
glad you said that because that articulated it better than I was going to articulate that. But that's exactly what I meant in the sense of like I don't ever want to come off as like because bro, like for me, I'm not paying bills.
Yeah.
I'm in college and I'm playing baseball, so it's very easy to be like chase your dreams, spend your whole day doing that. Like it's a very naive perspective.
As I got older, I was in the same place and I never really thought about it. But as I got older and I started seeing people around me and I started seeing like, yo, like I actually have to, I can't just quit my job.
Just go do whatever I want.
Right, I can't do that.
Right.
I was like, bro, you're absolutely right. Like, and
it's
that
a privilege.
Was me being naive, like, because I was like, yo, why aren't you, pursuing or putting, your 10,000 hours into this craft?
There's circumstances,
like, bro, like,
dog.
There's things that happen. I'm like, you know what? Now I'm in a mindset of belief, like 100%, yo. If you have to go do something that requires you to put
that's first
food on
the
table that needs you to pay the bills, but then don't tell me the remaining hours. Let's say even if you work double shifts, I don't even know what the hours of a double shift.
You can find the time.
You have at least 2 hours to build on the thing you need to build on a day. I guarantee you can find 2 hours. If that means for a year or 2 years or 3 years you have to sleep 2 hours less for 2 years to make that dream come true, then make that happen.
100%.
And to give you an example of that, you remember where I used to work before, where 100%. I told you I work at the Hard Rock. I used to work inside the casino, and bro, I would work
crazy hours,
4 nights a week till like 2-3 in the morning.
Right.
Terrible. Like I didn't like it.
Right.
And I was like, fuck, man, I feel like I'm so tired. I don't have enough time to do what I want to do, which is like
your passion.
Stuff.
Yeah.
And I could have easily fallen into that, just being stuck, like, oh, this is it. I mean, I got to figure this out. And until one day I was just like, all right, I'm going to find something better where just my time management I can rearrange it.
Yeah.
Right.
And I decided it was a big change because I think I told you they offered
light
me
bulb moment.
They offered me a supervisor position. It was going to be 5 nights out of the week, and I'm getting my bachelor's.
And he was going to be even more tied in than he already was.
Yeah, 100%.
It was less tied in.
Right.
And to speak on the universe for a second, because I actually accepted it at first. I was like, I'll get more money because I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
And right when I accepted it that same day, one of the people that they had asked that worked there before called the manager and said like, oh, hey, like I'm interested. And they kind of screwed me over, but I'm happy that they did because then they ended up getting him instead of me.
Right. And
I didn't get that position. And then that led to me like staying there a little longer than I left. I was like, I'm going to get into something else. I was really good with people. So now I got into, I'm bartending now at the Hard Rock, but I'm working 3 days out of the week.
Right.
Making way more.
I mean, I'm able to invest in this.
Right.
Over there, I was not. And I'm able to invest here. I work 3 days out of the week. Latest, I leave. I get home. It's like at 8 o'clock at night. Latest.
Which is phenomenal.
You have
2 hours of pure quality work.
He's got more time now. He's making more money. He has more time to invest both money-wise and time-wise
Right.
into the ambition that he has.
Yeah.
It was like a short-term goal that I wanted for myself. Instead of making the excuse of like, well, I can't do that anymore because I just decided to make a change in what I was doing.
Right.
I was able to find something that I enjoy bartending. I enjoy what comes with it.
Right.
I'm getting home by like 8 o'clock and I'm doing this. So it's like I'm in a place where it's like this flowing state of
You're in your balance.
Yeah.
I'm in my balance. And
To your
you would
point-
think that's not possible, right? Like, oh no, because it's either you got to quit your job or something. But
Right. But that's also to the point from before of you can have it all.
Yeah, there it is.
And another great point that you hit on, like the world's rejection is God's protection. Not everything you want
Oof.
is what you want.
Oof.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like the fact that it's like, wow, that job, higher paying, like that would be sick. Like if I got that, da-da-da. Next thing you know, it goes to someone else. And maybe in the moment, you're like, damn, that kind of sucks. And then looks what that turns into.
Bro, it's crazy you mentioned that. You mentioned your story because I was just talking to my older cousin about this too. He was like, he was looking forward to being the manager. He was a pharmacist. And he was looking forward to being the manager, and he finally got the job. He was working insane hours. He was managing all these people, super stressed. Like you could see him age like right before your eyes, just off of the job. And then he got laid off. Like in the peak of it. And he was like, damn, what am I gonna do? I had all these benefits, this, that, and the third.
Right.
And then he went back into that regular role that he had, and all of a sudden, he had more time to invest into real estate.
Right.
And all of a sudden, real estate took over. And now he's not even thinking about pharmacy. He's
Right.
got this quality of life. He's spending the time with his kids that he wants to. Spend time with his wife. He can travel. He doesn't
Right.
have to think twice.
Right.
Like it completely changed. It went from him wanting that like, I
Yeah.
need to be this manager and this, and it's something he thought he desperately needed, to him being like, yo, I couldn't care less.
Right.
And that was God's protection.
Yeah, I truly believe in that, bro. Like
100%, bro.
the
There's always
world's
something better in
world's
store.
rejection is God's protection. You want this person to be in your life, and
Yeah.
God's just like, bro, it's not in the cards. No
It's
matter
like-
how
it's that
bad you
quote.
want them, or whatever it is, or how bad you want a position, or
Yeah.
like for me, of course, like it's like out of high school, I was like, bro, I want to get drafted so bad.
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
Yeah.
Am I happy about that? Of course, like maybe not happy, but
yeah.
I'm so content, and like
Yeah.
it's not even a thought.
Like,
But
you're fine,
before,
yeah.
before it was like, damn, bro, like what happens if I don't get drafted?
Yeah.
Da, da, da. Now it's like it's not even a bit, like it's not even a
Rejection
second
is just
thought.
redirection, bro.
That's
all
what
it
I'm
is.
saying.
That's all it is.
Literally, that's literally what it is, bro. When one door closes, another door
Another door
opens.
opens.
Always.
Facts. All right, Grant.
Yeah, man.
Before we close, I just want to ask two things you
Yes,
want
sir.
to tell anybody of any age, two lessons that you know that you have, and then I have a follow-up question after that, but I'll let you. Just two things.
I have one as well after.
All right,
Go
let's
ahead.
go. Two things I would say. Obviously, forever keep going.
Yep.
And then two, be easier on yourself and be easier on others
Oof.
in your pursuit of greatness.
Powerful. That's powerful. I love that. And
What was your
the
second
second
one?
one? So the second one was you only have 3 books that you can recommend the viewers. Only 3
Mm.
that have shifted your mindset, that you think are above all else, or just even right now in this moment are the 3 books that you recommend the most. Because they may obviously change.
Yeah, it will change because I'm gonna read a lot more
Keep
books. I
reading.
haven't read that many. I've probably read 15 books.
No, but we've talked about books a lot. And
Yeah.
Just out of those.
No,
pick the 3
100%.
that you
I would
feel
say
like-
probably honestly, and this isn't in order.
Yeah.
I can't put them in order.
Yeah.
For like life perspective stuff, The Power of Now.
Yep.
2 of like building blocks to just like foundational things of wanting to like get better at things. Atomic Habits, the one I just read.
Awesome.
And then you gotta read one of the Grover books.
100%. I agree with you on that.
Either one.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first one,
You have
Relentless.
by Tim Grover, and then Winning by Tim Grover.
Yeah, Relentless is the first one where it's more a little like maybe not tamed, but it's more like raw ideas in my
Yeah.
opinion. And then Winning was like a
That
lot
was
of
heavy,
people
yeah.
didn't respond very well to Relentless, so he was like, "Okay, great, I'm gonna go even crazier now."
And he did
Kind of like
Winning.
how he described it. And he was like,
Yeah.
"If you didn't like what I said before, now I'm gonna give it to
Now
you in
you
detail."
Really not gonna like what I
Yeah.
said.
So
nice,
it
nice.
so it definitely one of those.
Yeah.
For sure, one of those. So. The Power of Now, Atomic Habits, and one of the Grover books, whichever one you just. I think either one is
you
phenomenal.
can't go wrong with either of them. I
Yeah,
agree.
either one.
I'm getting one of those for sure.
You have
I'm telling you, this whole podcast, dude, I've just been absorbing.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
I
oh,
love it. I tell them all the time. Every time
yeah.
we do it, it's like a mix of like a therapy session. Just for me, selfishly, it's just like
No,
Oh,
me
it
too.
leaves like
Me
it's
too.
just like
Same.
My question was just like a simple question because I remember what you mentioned earlier. You
No
would
doubt.
reach out to MLB players.
Yes,
was
sir.
there any advice to any of them that did reach back? Anything
Oh
that
my
stood
gosh,
out?
so many. I've gotten amazing advice from many different people, but honestly, like I said, my ideas aren't. Of course, some are,
Yeah.
but it's not original. Like I'm the product of so many good people that have put an effort into me, and I'm like a melting pot of all
of that
success story ideologies and habits and that type of stuff. And I put it together to work what's best for me, and found like what clicks best in my brain and what's works best for me, and put that all together, and I'm riding with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not like one standout thing that blew my mind. It was like I was constantly like, okay, I'll use that, and then constantly evolving that into the person I'm trying to become, and into my routines and my habits and my character.
Powerful.
I love that they even like, you have someone responded. That's like,
it's huge.
Because they don't, like what you were saying earlier, they don't have to, but
No,
the fact
of
that
course
you're
not.
someone that's where you want to be, and you have these players like
100%.
like,
But that's back to like a little bit of what we were talking about before we head off of like, if you're doing the right things, you'll be in the right environments for these things to cultivate, and you'll meet the people you want to meet and need to meet to get to where you want to go.
Wow.
And that's that whole God sign of like, bro, I've been very blessed, very lucky to like run into these pro baseball players. Mind you, there's hundreds in South Florida.
Yeah.
But still, like, coaches opening up opportunities for me where it's like, hey, they're having a live batting session. You can show up and go throw to them. Go. And there's 20 pro guys, and I meet them, and it opens doors. And just if you keep doing right, I feel like the world will give you what you want if you're truly living out the way you want to be living, and you're a fountain, not a drain. If you try and take from everyone, you're probably it's probably not going to be great. But if you're a fountain and you're giving like the right way, authentically, where it's flowing out of you, those advices and all that stuff comes naturally, where it's just like
true.
These people and these things and these ideologies come to you, and you're like, oh wow, I can use that.
Yeah. That's
I
powerful.
mean, it's the best way to send it off.
Lastly, Grant, where can they find you on Instagram, or even on campus?
Oh, no, I don't find me on campus, but my Instagram, I don't even know my Instagram name, bro.
I think it's Grant.
Grant.oam.0.
.0. That's right.
Look
Thank
at me.
you.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on, dude.
Thank you guys for having me, bro. It was
Great
awesome.
podcast,
We'd
man.
love
was
to do
awesome.
this again, bro.
For sure.
For real.